Hey, where you sitting at?
Yeah, join us, please. Which one do you here?
Yeah, sit right. Well, you can hold the camera then if you want to do that. Let's get Empress on here, man. What up? What up? This is what we do. He said, hold up. My brother's from Lisbon. I want him to tell a story. He got to tell his story, what he just said about Italy. He's from Italy. He said, hold up, what was the name you said in Italy? Malu. Maru.
Yeah, M-A-U-R-O.
And what is it?
The Italians, the Moors, when they came to Europe, they went as far as to Sicily, and the Italians starts addressing us, the Moors, as Mauro, and now the name stays till now. It's an Italian name, but the origin of this name is the Moors. So
the Moors.
From Moor is to Mauro, and in Portuguese, Moor is Moro.
Moro. So it's Moro.
To Mauro.
See what I'm saying? Like when people sit up here and talk about the history of the Moors, oh, the Moors is the English word. It's not. It goes way back than that. It goes way back. So they bury so much information. And I'm going to go back to this. I'm trying to tell you, man, this book right here, this is the book, man. That's the book they got to get. Oh, he didn't see the back part of it. Let me show you the back part of this book. I'm getting an interview with my beautiful sister right here. What's up? Tell them what you do.
I'm Chinia from the UK, and we're doing Mama Knows Best, and it's a multi-platform. We've got loads of people on there on the journey of self-discovery. So it's good to speak to my guy. We're just learning all in the art of enlightenment, and just finding just purpose and just living and just knowing and just life. Let's fix the whole world. Let's make it happen.
That's what's up, man. Cause you talking to people from the States, man. Give them the link to where you at. Your link.
Excellent. Go to Mama Knows Best, M-U-M-A, like the Jamaican Mama Knows Best, M-U-M-A knowsbest.com, and then you've got all our links on there. And we're just on this journey of self-discovery. Me as a female, black woman in the UK, lost everything, and now I'm getting back on my feet. And on that journey, I'm just going to speak to everybody and just discover self.
We gonna correct this thing with the black thing anyway. But he just told you he's the Moor right here.
Yes.
We're Moors. He knows. The Moors, man. We gotta fix this problem.
We are fixing it.
We are fixing it. Everybody, hold up. Tell them who you are and what you do, man. Go ahead.
Mauro, I'm a filmmaker, and I'm also a co-creator for Mama Knows Best. And what we're doing here is bringing people together. We're trying to understand and to explain that we come from far beyond what they have told us. Our heritage and our knowledge is ancestral. It's been here for thousands and thousands of years. In Europe, history got rewritten. It's not the real history.
It's not the real history.
We are the fathers, we are the mothers of civilization, and yet we're still here. We've been broken by trauma. They tried to split us away from the togetherness that we had in Egypt and far beyond Egypt. Africa was always the motherland, and now we have to bring it back. We've been through a lot of trauma that sometimes was self-inflicted, but also inflicted by other spirits. And we need to get together now. We need to get together to understand who we really are, where we come from, and the power that we have by knowing who we are. And then we can teach again our children and the rest of the civilization how to behave again. So it's a time for unity. It's not a time to separation, even from our fellow brothers and sisters, the white ones, the yellow ones, all of them. They are our children.
Hold up. Say it again, brother. They are our children, and we got to put them back in check. Put them back in check. That's all you got to do. Just tell the truth.
And with love, but as a father, also with tough love, sometimes it's important, but more than that, it's love. It's all about love. It's all about understanding. It's all about understanding that's another beating heart that went through trauma. And it's time for us all to stop and say, yo man, enough of this trauma, let's talk, let's have a drink, let's see what we can do to move forward.
Yeah, let's have some coffee.
What's the solution? Let's have some
Lemon
coffee.
chisel cake.
Lemon chisel cake. Hold on, but I want them to tell the people again what the Moor is in Italy and in Portuguese.
Okay, so more is Mauro in Italian and in Portuguese as well. And it comes from the fact that when we came from Africa, from Northern Africa, and we came to Europe to teach mathematics, to to teach Europe how to use soap, man. Basic things that we had it in our civilization. There wasn't before the Moors arrived. There wasn't a bath. They didn't know how to use the spices and the products to make a soap.
See?
They didn't know how to use the spices to make the food taste good. They didn't knew or had the architectural to make the incredible buildings that you just visit before.
Man, I found, man.
Man, agriculture, everything has been spinned. Now they say that the motherland, Africa, which has all this abundance, doesn't have the capacity for agriculture, that agriculture was created here. But we were the ones that taught in Europe how to do an irrigation system, how to connect pipes to be able to get water into your grass when it's not raining in such a dry country, because we had the knowledge, because we came from North Africa, we came from Africa. We had that knowledge, we came from dry seasons, and we knew how to apply that to Europe. And then they spin it again, but the most important thing about this is to know who you are, connect to that, and get back to where we were, because there's plenty more to do. We are the scientists, we are the astronomers. Spirituality and science is exactly the same thing. They try to break one from the other. So let's connect spiritually, let's connect ancestrally, let's connect with our roots, let's connect with the mother, let's heal, and let's become again those astrophysics. Let's become again the people that shaped mankind.
Yep.
Teach and share.
And this brother is from
Love, man.
Portugal, man. There you go, the Moorish Castle in Portugal. That's an experience. He could tell you, he was up there. When you go there, many times, when you go there, you can feel that energy up there. Like seriously, when I went to the Alhambra, I felt the energy of my ancestors. When I went to El Ghazar, you can feel your ancestors when you're there. Like literally, like you like, wait a minute. I'm sitting here, we talking about Hannibal. I went to Carthage. So the brother said, imagine what Hannibal was doing at Carthage. He said, imagine what he was sitting there doing at the time, standing in Carthage. He said, you standing in a spot that Hannibal was standing in. You know, you standing in a spot in the Alhambra where our ancestors was fighting, because it was a story behind that. And I'm ready whenever you are. I'm just telling you my story. So there was a story of the Alhambra, how they would have spears at certain parts of the door. Like they would throw oil. The stones would be rock, right? So they would throw oil on the ground. So the horse, you couldn't put your horse up there. So it was a cliff. So you had to get off your horse. Now go into the Alhambra. So by the time you got into the Alhambra, they had spears, guys at each corner of the door. So cause they never could breach the Alhambra. They could never breach it. They had to do an inside job. And that's just like that movie, The Inside Man. That's how they did it. So they had to get someone on the inside to do it, just like today. So all the tactics that they're using on us is basically from us. Hannibal was the baddest dude, right? Carthaginian. From the back and the front, and crush you in the middle. They still use those tactics, right? With our people. But now we don't peep that. So as I'm sitting in the Alhambra, I'm telling the tour guide lady the history, and she said, are you some type of sultan? If you see what I was wearing, like if you see my garb, they would say, do you speak Arabic? Are you a sultan? So I'm standing there talking to them, and then while I'm there, it's Asians, it's Europeans. They ask, can I get your picture? Can I get a picture of you? I'm like, yeah, it's gonna cost you. I'm dead, no lie. And they was paying me. They literally paid me to take a picture with me. If I go to my phone, I still got it on my phone, but I didn't post the photos up because you know how Negroes are. He's posing with white people. That's the mentality of our people. But if I show you the photos, one dude pushed his girl to me to take a picture with me. She's European, but he pushed his girl and said, I had the fez on my head. He pushed her, right? And said, go ahead, take the picture with him. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, but the story of the Alhambra, could you hold this? You can actually, you want to do this? Yeah. Because I have to tell the story, because the story is so deep, right? So it's a cliff in the Alhambra, and on the top of it's written in Arabic, and they have Mary at the top. Oh yeah, because they could never destroy the architect of the Alhambra. Nothing that we built, if you go there, is still intact, right? So they use plaster. This is why if you lean on it, they say don't lean on it, because it's not real, because they cover up everything, like they cover us up. So in the Alhambra, like I'm doing stuff purposely, you know, I'm me, I do stuff. Sir, you can't lean on that. No, I'm like, well, this is ours. You know, no lie. But so there's rooms in certain parts of the Alhambra that you can't go in, but it's covered up. But if you know the history, so as I'm walking through the Alhambra, I'm giving history on the Alhambra, and they asking me, how did you know what was going on here? Right? I said, what do you mean, how did I know? My ancestors were speaking through me. You follow me? I don't need you to talk. The same way when I was in Carthage, in Tunis. I paid him, and I'm thinking that's what you got to do. So I paid the dude, and I get in the gate, the money. He's telling me, I'm like, no, dude, this is what's going on. This is what is happening, right? I said, you know what you can do? That money I paid you, go give them the tour. That's what I told him. There's two ladies sitting there. I said, the money I gave you, give them the tour. I know what's going on here. We are the Phoenicians. We were here. So I'm giving the whole rundown. He eventually left me. That's he left. But this is the type of stuff that they don't tell our people. So by the time it gets to the States, it's, oh, the Moors was some type of group of people that just faded away. They're not here anymore. But see, in Philadelphia, our nationality was taken in 1774. And then 1779, they were black and color was placed on us. And they said, if you know the drill, they said, if they teach this, it will go on for generations and generations. Noble Drill, he brought this back to us. You know, he told us. So I just took the mission and said, let me go and let me find out. So let me go to the Alhambra, let me go to Puerto Rico, let me find out how slavery started. Slavery didn't start with the Arabs. It started with the Portuguese. You see him shaking his head. It started with the Portuguese and the Spanish, right? That's why I want the Portugal to find out what took place, how and why. It happened in Seville too. Seville, they were cutting our heads off and setting us on fire in the 14th, 15th century. Before it happened in the States. Right? So I'm sitting in these holy grounds. Y'all may not think it's holy. Y'all think the door of no return is holy. I think that's holy. You follow me? That's the holiest for me. Because it started there and it trickled over into Africa.
So what started there? What started there?
What started
there? To Africa.
As far as what? As far as my journey or history?
History.
Well, I mean, as far as what I've researched, the jealousy always happened. And again, let's go back to the Alhambra, bro. Let's go back. In the Alhambra, they could not breach it. They had to get one of our people. There was a story, I cannot think of the brother's name. And on the journey, they said he sold his father out. And actually, after he took sides with the Europeans, I don't like to say white people, he said, you couldn't, his mother said you couldn't protect it like a man, so don't proud like a woman. As he was going back to Africa. Because jealousy and envy was amongst our people still to this day. He wanted to sit in the seat of throne. Right? So he turned his back on his father. That's happening right now with our people, some of us in our family, because of jealousy and envy. And that's what we got to fix. So as I'm listening to the story, I know some of it, but I'm like, so a lot of that stuff is not true. I'm like, it's not necessarily true. So as they talking about us getting into the Alhambra, reaching the Alhambra, it happened on the inside. They could never breach the inside of the Alhambra. They had to get it because it was like a fortress. There's one part in the Alhambra that if you got caught in the center, I have pictures of it. If you got caught in the middle of this particular part, they would flood it with water and you would drown. Oh, well, we was gonna joke. It's one part and you can see it. You can literally see where the water will be rising at. And you can walk through it. I'm sitting there saying, man, I feel like Moses, man. You know, you ever hear the story of Moses, you know, the flood coming? I'm like, I'm walking through here. Like I'm visualizing this. As the flood is coming, the water coming in, the ground. They could never breach this. But it always was in an inside job with our people. So now we getting into the States now. We don't know this history. We only know slavery. That's all we know. We don't know anything about our history before slavery. Ask the average black person in America, or probably, y'all probably know it here, where the history started. They'll tell you, oh, it started in slavery. Or they'll say, well, we the great kings and queens of Egypt, the ancient black gods. Black is not an ancient word. It's a modern word. Study history. 15th century they started it. So how could you possibly be an ancient black god?
Okay, yeah.
This is what we gotta fix. Like the brother said, we have to teach this to our people. And he said we're doing it. What he's doing is the most powerful thing. That camera.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're doing. So what's wonderful is that we've got a radio show, so and we actually do honouring great black men and women of UK history, and that's took me on my journey of learning about history from in the UK. But going through this journey, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we found out that it was kings and queens who were black of England. So you got Queen Charlotte, she was black, and
She was a Moor.
she's a Moor, there you go. And yeah, from the Portuguese line as well. And then you've even got Queen Charlotte, you got Queen, oh there you go. You just pull
I
out
told you, I pull out books, baby.
Charlotte.
I'm going to pull out the books.
And Queen Philippa. The thing what interested me was Queen Philippa of England. She was seen as she is the most royalist of royal to ever sit on the throne because of her father was a king and a king of Europe. Her grandfather was a king of Europe, her great grandfather. And then it's kind of bringing me into Europe as well and kind of seeing the actually, the king, the African kings and queens that sat on those thrones. And what was beautiful for me is that even discovering about UK history, in the Moors settled in Scotland as well, and there's a massive, when I say so many African kings who sit on the throne, and there's so many King and Kenneth the III. We've even got, have you heard of Shakespeare? And she does, what's it called?
Macbeth?
No, give me another one that was good. Macbeth. You've got Lady Macbeth. You're right. Yeah. Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth. She was actually a black woman. Even though he characterised it in a play, some of the characteristics come from her. But to know that her grandfather was Kenneth III, and he was an African king. So for me, I'm like, my gosh, this whole veil of information that's been covered, been disintegrated by design, because now I feel so empowered as an African woman here in Africa, but just knowing our history of that land in the UK. But when I was actually coming to researching as well, one of the articles I seen in the New York Times said that black people, or African people, let's say, sorry, we have to get to that.
No, it's all
I want
good.
to speak to her
It's
because
all
we're
good.
gonna get there.
It's all
I've
good.
discovered as well that it's not about that, you know what I mean? But England was an island that the Africans used to come, and actually this is their island. It was island they were first 75,000 years before any other race. So when people say for us as the UK, go back home because we just had a generation.
Let me show y'all that too.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me tell you the story behind that. They do that. See the craziness they say to go back home? Tell Europeans and tell white people to go back home. I'm telling y'all this in the UK. Next time they tell y'all to go back home, tell them to go back home. And see where they go back home to.
Where would they go back home?
They can't go back nowhere. And see, this is the game. And again, I know y'all, it's like the UK imitates a lot of stuff that they do in the States. They watch the news, they watch our hip hop, they watch everything.
Yeah.
Right? They say the same thing in the States, go back home. No, you go back to where you came from. See, if you know your history, they can't run that on you. They never would come to me and say, Sabir, go back to where you came from. Hell no, you can't tell me to go back to where I came from. You can't, because I was there.
But what's even amazing that I discovered as well on my journey was that the first slaves in America were white English men and women and children. And as well, I don't know if it was the establishment, the system, you got that? The system, they actually took so many Irish to the point where they halved the population of Ireland and took them over to America. They actually, as well, that's why you got the Irish and the English and all that thing that goes with it. So they took their own people, and that was before they went on that transatlantic slave. You went to Africa. And what in America, you had like the Englishmen who used to go there. Their life expectancy was 2 years. And then so they're like, okay, it's a waste of money. You know what I mean? You're not getting, too much. It was the tobacco and farming. So then now they've gone to Africa, to get the stronger black men and women to farm these industries. And then, they used to get paid, they used to charge 50 pence for an African person and 5 pence to a British person. But by the time they've actually, gone through all this, I kind of thought, wow, this whole thing is all a myth to think that, the first slaves in the US was Africans, which is a lie. No. And then the second thing is that what I'm realizing that this is not about colour. This whole thing
It had nothing
on
to do
this
with
world has
colour.
got nothing to do with colour.
No.
It's about economics.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it still is about economics today.
But see, this is why most don't know or study economics. There was a brother named Ibn Khaldun, and I keep telling people this. No one brings up Ibn Khaldun. Ronald Reagan studied Ibn Khaldun. As any Muslim in any country, anybody from out here, I guarantee if I did something on the street and walked around and asked about Ibn Khaldun, they'll tell you about him. Sociology, economics. He dealt with all of that. He was talking about the rise and falls of countries. Ibn Khaldun, right? He has, my brother told me to go to London. He said, no, go to Yale and get his books. He has 6 or 7 books. He said, study Ibn Khaldun's work. Study his work and find out what was happening with our people, right? I said, okay, I'm going to take this journey, go study Ibn Khaldun. I'm going to study every last one of his books, right? I thought I had the book, but I don't have it. But he's a person that people should study, but they don't teach us that in the States. But in the Ivy League schools, they're taught Ibn Khaldun. We got all these people talking about economics, but nobody studied Ibn Khaldun's work. In the States, we don't even know what money is. We don't even know the first slaves were Europeans. J.A. Rogers wrote this book in 1920. He said the first slaves in the United States were not black, but white. They were Europeans, British, who died like fleas, like flies, not fleas, flies on a slave ship. 1,100. He said from Britain. He also talks about it in here. 1670, Virginia passed a law forbidding Negroes from buying white people. That was 51 years after the slave arrived in chains. You see what I'm saying? This is what they're not being telling our people.
But for me, I think that this is an enlightenment for the world, not just for our people. Because I feel that even people who quote, we say white people, English, they have to wake up too.
Yes, but listen. When Noble Drawley said it's to uplift fallen humanity, he was talking about uplifting fallen humanity. Everybody these days. KRS One has his song out like that. And he talks about teach what needs to be taught. My philosophy. He says teach what needs to be taught because black and white both take short because one doesn't know about the other one's culture. So our job is to teach them because they have been dumbed down just as well as we've been dumbed down. They just very arrogant about it. So they bring the white supremacy game in. Nobody else on this planet talks white supremacy. It's a theory. It's not a fact. I'm looking at this, I'm like, it's a theory, it's not a fact. So I even got booted off the show one time, almost. Because I told him that white supremacy was a theory, that he gonna mention Neely Fuller and say, well, Neely Fuller said, I don't care, it's no disrespect. I do my own research. So it's not a fact. But if you study Franz Fanon's book, Black Skin, White Mask, Franz Fanon talks about inferiority. He talks about how the black man should stay in his place. He said the Negro must stay in his place and the others want to follow. He said, I'm going to quote it. He said, all we ask of the black man is to be a good nigga and the rest will follow. That's what Franz Fanon was saying in his book, Black Skin, White Mask. So, okay, he also speaks about inferiority in his book. He said, what is the inferiority? Dressing like him, wearing his clothes, driving his cars, using his furniture. That's all you gotta do is look at our people. Look at our people. Look at our people. And you'll see. What do we do?
Oh, rushing to Black Friday, isn't it?
Black Friday, yo, bro, but it's a sale, bro. You know, it's a sale going on. Ain't no sale going on, dude. It's probably some leftover stuff they want to sell you. Like, it's the economics. And when I went overseas, it made me realize a lot of things. I'm so serious. I said, I was so colonized that I'm talking about ironing clothes. I said, they don't even iron clothes, dude. They just hang their clothes outside like old school. And like, or they shape them up. You know, I'm like looking for artists. I was in Spain. They said, you need a what? I said, an iron. A what? I want to iron my clothes.
Air dry, baby. Air dry.
We don't have an iron. But some places have irons in their hotels because of tourists. So if you go to a real place, because I was in places that you didn't have no iron, right? But if you're in a place that is known for tourism, they will have that. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference. So I'm not playing the tourist game when I'm traveling. I'm like, I'm nomad, dude. What up? You know? So it's a difference when I'm moving around and like I tell Empress, like my brain is like I can remember everywhere I went at. Like literally and tell the drivers where I'm going.
You're experiencing.
the spirit of our ancestors is in us. It's in us. So as I'm
Absolutely.
traveling
Ashe.
from one spot, and I'm in Grenada.
Yeah.
To drive from Grenada to go to Seville is like an hour and a half, 2 hours, right? Right? So to go, like none of these places are close. I'm on buses for 3 hours. Buses for an hour and a half. So like literally to come from Barcelona to Grenada, I think it's like 11 hours. On a bus. It's very far, right? So people don't know who don't travel.
Yeah.
So imagine being, and I'm in my head now, I'm on these buses. And I'm sitting here saying, wow, man, how did they do it back then? How did they get on these? What would they ride? In my head, I'm looking at the roads, man. How did we travel back then? Then it hit me. No wonder we were called nomads. We would build wherever we wanted. We would sit in one spot, stay there. Like, we never tied ourselves down. That is a European concept. If you study the history of the gypsies, the nomads, the Torres, that meant traveling person. Even the word Arab really means travel. People, it's not what people think it is. It's like you never stayed in one spot. We always moved from place to place. We built our cities, and we chilled and we rolled. The concept of us talking about we stayed in one spot, no. That's what Europeans wanted you to do. Stay in one spot, don't move nowhere. You're African American. We brought you there on slave ship. You should be happy.
Yeah, it's really sad the lies I've been told. Really,
The lies.
Yeah,
It's
lies.
real.
It's real.
So when you travel, you see it, and it's crazy because Yasim's mother, which is like my mom too, she would always tell me, and I remember walking with her, we was in Barcelona, she said, Sabir, the world is too vast to get stuck in one place. And things don't hit you till later on. Real rap, it don't hit you till later on. She said the world is too vast to get stuck in one place. Which means don't get stuck in that circle or stuck in the United States. Get outside of that.
You have to, because that's where you see, that's where you learn. I went to Jamaica, and there was this woman, she looked like the Queen of England. She had her hat on, you know, and she came out with the worst patois I've ever heard in my life.
The whole world was
Patois, you know,
yeah.
you know, where look, yeah, come here, and then, you know, she,
Well, don't make me start talking like that. You might get upset with me.
but that broke the concept for me of kind of banding people in that you stay here and you are this.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of shift that. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, because like people associate certain languages or looks to particular people.
You don't make me to the United States, because they, you know, I don't go nowhere saying I'm from America. I'm gonna keep it real.
One concept that we, or one thing that I was talking about was the word black and the word white, and and grouping people into black and white. One of the things that I've kind of learned or investigating is that the black, or the word black, or the concept of the black that we call ourselves, I'm a black woman, came from the opposition of the white supremacy. The opposite. If you're white, then I'm black. So, kind
Why
of.
you say white supremacy?
Because it's I'm talking about the concepts.
I know, I got you.
Of to say, okay, the opposite. We're opposite to whatever you stand for. We're opposite.
So that's who created it. It's a caste system. It's called a caste system. It's called a color code caste system to identify people. This cup is black.
Exactly.
Do you look like?
No. But that's what I'm saying. That's for me. That's where, even as a, in the sense of saying from a political standpoint that I'm a black woman because I stand against, you know, the oppression or the brainwashing. So that's who I am. But I thought back in the day, or I think what's good, even in America, they call themselves, you know, Afro-American. So then therefore, well, I've actually seen a travel of your ancestry in your description. And then even in England, we call ourselves just we're black. You know, but if I was to describe my ancestry and where I come from, then I would say that, you know, Afro-Caribbean, Scottish, British.
Yeah.
So automatically, I've just broke down the traveling or the ancestry of me and who I am and where I come from. So then that doesn't make me, there's kind of more of an understanding of the individual rather than banding yourself into particular groups.
Yeah, you don't put yourself, we didn't lock ourselves into particular groups. Like for now, like I can go to Jamaica.
Yeah.
I'm Jamaican, G. I can go to Haiti. I'm Haitian. I was in Morocco. They called me Moroccan, a Tuareg, a Berber. They never called me Black American.
Yeah.
You go to Brazil, it's the same.
Brazil, the same thing, because it's all, we all one. Europeans created this thing called the color code caste system. Even if you go back to Scotland, like I was walking in Barcelona, and I don't know if you saw that video when the dude had the kelp on. Remember? You didn't see that video? Oh, I record everything, right? So I'm walking down the street and I stopped him. I said, "Are you Gaelic?" He said, he said, "No." I did it in Vegas too. The Gaelic is us. We are the Gaelic language. The Celtic, yeah, Scottish and Celts, right? He told me to go there, right? I said, "Yeah, that's from the Moors." He said, "Yes." He told me to go to Scotland. So I'm sitting with him and I'm listening to the two of them because one of them couldn't speak English, right? The other one did. So we talking. I'm talking about Idi Amin, the King of Scotland. I said, "How can Idi Amin be the King of Scotland?" And we were not there. I told him I listen to Irish music. He's sitting there like, yo, this is me walking and talking. So we thinking the kelp is theirs, it is not. So you take it back. It ain't theirs, it's ours. So I know the history of Scotland. I know Gaelic language. I listen to the Irish music. But in our crazy minds, we think it is the white man. It is not. Because in Philly, they call us, they would say the black Irish. No, dude, correct it. Call it the Moorish Irish. In where I'm from, born at, I grew up and was never taught this information. We had one part of the city that we couldn't go to, right? It was the Irish area. If you go to there's a bar called, you can look it up, it's called Callahan's, right? Callahan's is a law's name inside there. Kala Allah, Tala Allah in Florida, Tallahassee, Allah. Who do you think they get it from? That's all you gotta do is take it back through your knowledge. When you sit there, they tell you this. They was like, "Oh, you know something about this." That's why everywhere I travel, they be like, "How did you know? What did you learn to say?" If you go to their school, their colleges are not going to teach this. Their college going to tell you that the Moors don't exist anymore. You see what I'm saying? They'll listen to these black professors. They be like, "Oh, there were a group of people that was here and they just disappeared off the planet of the earth." Wouldn't that be genocide? Wouldn't that be? Huh?
I know a big Moors founded right now from Jamaica. But
She's from Jamaica.
listen. No, what I laughed before, sister, when you were talking about you saw a woman that looked like the Queen. Now, when I first went to Jamaica in '74, I was walking down the road and I heard, greetings, grandpa. I haven't seen him yet, but I know who he is. Sorry,
she good. She can't physically see, but she mentally knows. But she said, Stevie Wonder. Yeah, Stevie Wonder, boy. I heard what she said. She said, "I know this voice from the radio."
One step ahead of everyone else. One step ahead of everyone else, man.
Yeah, sorry about that. I shouldn't do that though. But yeah, when I went to Jamaica, '74, walking down the road, and I'm hearing this man talking and deep, cussing deep, and trying to look around. And the vision was a bit better then. But I'm seeing this white face.
Yes.
And I thought, nah. I thought, go a bit closer. I'm looking at this gentleman. I have to call him a gentleman, but he was cussing the dirtiest BC artsy over AC equal bad word. It was an Irishman. It was an Irishman. Now the Irish were in Jamaica a long time.
Yep.
But the malaria, they couldn't manage the malaria.
See? It's us.
And that's why the transatlantic and etc. came in. But this is why Jamaicans love their Guinness.
Oh, you talking about the drink? Oh, the drink? Oh, okay, I don't drink, so I don't know. I just had to think about it for a minute.
Yeah, it's liquor, but Jamaicans love the Guinness, and the Irish bring in their ops and they love their Guinness.
Really?
That's the link between them.
Even if you go to the Scottish, the tartans that they have as their royal creeds of their clans, the tartans are from African tribes who were using their tartan patterns. Yeah, man.
You got the Twa people, the short people. That's the Twa. All these are still
Marshall's also from Scotland. Big family
This is
in
all sacred
Jamaica.
geography, and some people would say that was given.
Yeah.
Given, this information was given to us.
In terms of
So that's very
Irish, one thing that came up to me when I was doing my studying and yet to explore it, and I was like gobsmacked. Thinking, what? They're saying that the European history is only 6,000 years old. been a new history, or
Your history is new. They're not even your listen.
the British history
Yeah.
is only 6,000 years old,
Theirs
like
are.
they say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
and in the New York Times it says I beg to question where did it come from. And I was like, what's that mean? And these people was like, what's going
They
on?
came from us. Listen, once you erase this, I was just sharing with Empress. I don't know if you heard me when I was in the house, because my brain goes like I can be somewhere totally different listening to y'all at the same time, but my brain be over here analyzing stuff. I said even the word Aryan is not done. Aryan is not done. That's us. That's not. None of this stuff is done. There's none of this information is done. They just changed everything around and things
To suit
get lost in
themselves.
translation. They're not that. Swastika is not theirs, it's ours. They come from Ethiopia. That's why I wear yarmulke. I sit with the swastika and I start a conversation up wherever I go. Because I'm gonna give you the history, right? So once you start understanding the Miska, us even celebrating the Miska and burning up the cross, that comes from us. They didn't burn the cross, they just used it against us. So again, it trickled all the way to the States. All this stuff still pertains to the Moors. Whether you are Ethiopian, huh? No, go ahead, say it again.
The cross is the sun.
It crosses the sun. So all of this stuff, people say, well, the Moors is a modern term. Yes, M-O-O-R is, but he just gave you the history of the Moors, right? The Moors are the Zegwi. The Zegwi, my brother tell you that about the Zegwi dynasty. Those are the Kushites.
Yes.
The Kush, you can spell Kush K-U-S-H or C-U-S-H. Kush, the same people. So what Europeans, because they didn't invent language either.
So why all this confusion? Why did all this kind of upheaval? Why the separation between each other? Why, what's the master plan of the
Control.
The why? Control.
It's control.
Control over what?
Resources. Listen, this is what Europeans done. Look, I look at people and I tell people, because I don't follow no religion like nobody. I don't follow religions, because if you ask me, I am a Muslim. If you ask me, I'm a Christian. If you ask me, I'm a Buddhist. I'm all of that, right? So all in my house, I have every book, every Bible, every Quran, every Torah, whatever you name, is mine. Because all religions come out of Africa, point blank period. Don't get caught up. So take every book and analyze every book. You see what I'm saying? Let's study the books. So people get caught up in religion. In the States, they gave us the Bible and took our land. Everything is resources of the land. Let's give them the Bible and take the land. That's what they did. So black folks in America are basically landless. They have no land. I'm going to repeat this again. They're landless. Where is their land at? So let me erase your history totally out of here. Totally, you have no land. Because there is no ancient black gods of Egypt. There is no black people in Egypt. There is no black people in Africa. If you walk through Africa, they're going to say, I'm Ghanese, I'm Ethiopian, I'm Sudanese, I'm this, I'm that. And they'll say, oh, brother, because the Berlin Conference, they separated. Brother, they still wasn't that. They were not black. And when I sat in Spain, I was in Gaudi's hotel, Antonio Gaudi. I'm sitting in this hotel. Most people don't know about him. He said there's no straight lines in history. In nature. He said, Gaudi said there's no straight lines in nature. If you ever study Antonio Gaudi, he knows about it. His works is totally different, right? He was influenced by the Moors. He was a Moor. In his documents, if you go there, you'll see his work, and he'll tell you this, man. In one of his first houses, when I was there, and I'm like, this is crazy, yo. Like, why are we not talking about this in the States? One person knew who Gaudi was when I was in Vegas. I was in a car in an Uber. Lady, I pulled up Gaudi. She said, oh, you know who Gaudi is? She said, you know, most people don't know who Gaudi is. You see, but that history is ours. So I'm sitting in his hotel. I purposely went to his hotel. And in his hotel, it looks like that bookcase right there. So I'm a book dude. Like, I'll go through everybody's book. So I opened up his book, and it's an encyclopedia and a dictionary sitting over there. I was looking for the word black. It's not in there. Negro is in there, but black is not in there. So black was in there, was B-L-E-A-C. Blanca, which means pale or white, as in Casablanca. So black is not in there. So how did black get inside of a dictionary in the States? And it's an adjective, right? So as I'm doing it, I said, well, let me go up to Oxford, because all the books come from Oxford to the States. All the books that we get in the States, they come from Oxford. right? So let me go up to Oxford and find out what's inside those books. Maybe I need to change some stuff inside there. Because KRS-One changed hip-hop inside Oxford. So I said, maybe I need to go to Oxford and change the definition of who these people are in America. You see what I'm saying? So again, they know the history, but we don't have the right people explaining it. Black and white are legal terms to identify property. If you talk to somebody from Ethiopia, when we was here yesterday, remember Empress, when I said the word Badia?
Yes.
Remember the Ethiopian brother, what he said? That brother said, he didn't repeat. I said, tell her what it was. He said, he ain't repeating that. Badia means black slave. Abib is Arabic. Abib or something like that means Arabic. You a slave. So how is it that we are holding on to the word black? Because what we're doing, sister, is that we're cursing ourselves. I understand in a general conversation to say, yo, you know, I can understand that. But politically, if you say that, that's something totally different. And this is why we have an issue, even with reparations. And people understand this. Nobody owes blacks no reparations. This is the reality. I spoke on a panel. I didn't even bury my mother. In DC, my mother wasn't even buried. It was a week when she died, and we didn't even bury her. And I wasn't going to go to it's on YouTube. Sabir Bey on reparations, right? I'm standing there, and I wasn't going to go. But my boss said, yo, you should go, Sabir. You should go. Your mother will want you to go. I go there, and I'm telling them, nobody owes blacks no reparations. Who went to war with black people? Help me. Why do you think it's taking so long? Well, they gave this person reparations over here. They gave that person. Wait a minute. What did they have to say then? Well, the Jews got reparations. Jew is not a nationality. It's a creed. So what was their nationality? You see what I'm saying? So we don't want to deal with the hardcore facts. So black, nobody went to war with blacks. Reparations for when nations fight one another. Where's a black nation at? Give me the black flag. Where is it at? They don't owe you anything, but we arguing with each other, saying they owe us reparations. No, study Charles Martel. I was in France, and I was going to go up to Charles Martel's monument. I was going to say I was going to do something else to it, but anyway, I'm not going to do it. They might not allow me back in France. But anyway, Charles Martel was the one that took down the Moors. He was the hammer. If you Google Charles the Hammer, you will see the history of him. He broke the Moors in 731, and in 732, and then Isabella and Norman came in after the fact. Once you break a people, there was the Moors, the French Christians, and the Moorish Muslims. That's the nation right there. Where's the black nation at? Where's their flag at? And black folks are showing their emotion. Oh, brother, they owe us. They owe us a slavery. They owe us restitution. Dude, anybody get restitution? Restitution come in court. Go to court. Go to court, they'll say restitution. That's just for a wrong that's being done.
So you're saying that the nations of people that are from people, so who we identify of being black, are the Moors, from the Christian Moors and the Muslim Moors. So if reparations to come is to come from.
You have to go identify the party, right?
Yeah.
If we fighting each other, let's use common sense and logic. If you're fighting somebody, right, and you want something from somebody, you gotta identify the party.
Yeah.
What nation would you get it from? What nation would you give it to? What nation? Somebody may say America. Wait a minute, America's broad. Are you talking about Brazil? Are you talking about Venezuela? Are you talking about Cuba? Are you talking about Canada? Which part of America are we talking about? Because if you say America, you know, oh, wait a minute. Well, we talking about the United States. Okay, then if we talking about the United States, then who was involved in slavery then? Identify the party. What part of the United States? Because I remember they had the North and South fight one another. So what part? Would you get the reparations for black people that was involved in slavery? Would you get that reparations from those people, right, that was part of that? Because you had a lot of our free people that was enslaving us too. Yeah, right? I'm trying to tell you this. But nobody wants the reality. They're not hiding anything. It's free slaves that was there.
But reparations actually happening in terms of even the university, I can't even quote the name, but in America are starting to look at their involvement in slavery and doing reparation. And it's happening as well in the UK as well. Bristol University, giving money back to the people who they benefited from So in a way, there's a wave. There's something actually happening in terms of reparation.
They're dealing with somebody somewhere somehow is dealing with nationality, but they're not telling y'all.
Yeah.
Somebody's telling you, somebody's doing something and not telling you that they're dealing with nationality.
Yeah.
Instead of openly telling people this, because the reality is we all didn't suffer slavery.
Yeah.
We all, I can remember my great grandmother. My great grandmother was 105. I sat with my grandmother.
Yeah.
She'll tell you she wasn't a slave,
Yeah.
but my grandmother did tell me she was a Moor. She did tell me that, and she was Galagichi.
Wow.
She did tell me that.
Well done, Grandma.
You know,
Yeah.
so I know my great grandmother, I knew my grandmother, and I know my mother. So
Yeah.
that's 3 generations, right?
Yeah.
I'm the 4th.
Yeah, exactly. Because even I was at a funeral and my granduncle said, you know, you wasn't a slave, you were a freeborn.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? Free? And the thing is that as a, can I say black woman?
I mean, no, it's all good. Listen, it's all good with me. You can
As
say
a-
whatever. You can say
as
you
a
are a dude if you want to. Me, I don't care. But you are.
Yeah,
We all are.
as an African woman, I actually automatically banded myself in that experience, and I stood for like, you know, slavery and this and that, blah blah blah, but not knowing that, you know, my family come from a freeborn, so then that's a different experience, that's a different, you know, concept. It's not the same.
It's
So
not.
one thing of my self-discovery or journey, self-discovery is just to be getting people to actually investigate who they are.
They have to.
They have to.
They have to do that.
Regardless
Travel.
of whoever you are, and travel. Yeah.
Travel's the
Yeah.
key. I'm gonna tell you, when my grandmother, I sat with her. So my grandma was wild, but my great grandmother, and I'm sitting. I said, Grandma, you know. I would tell the Empress, my grandma was very active, dude. At 100, dude, like she was, you know. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, Grandma, are you familiar with the Moors? You know, and she would say, what? You know, and I'm like, are you familiar with the Moors? She said, what? And I would say, more. Like I would show her pictures. And she said, oh yes. And then she would start telling me. And she said they were forbidden to even talk about it back then. They were forbidden.
Yeah.
You would get killed or you would get whipped if you talked about that history. And I'm sitting here like, wow. Now, mind you, I know about the Galagichi part. I know that part,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I said, okay, I know about this part. And it made me think about it. I said, the Gala. I'm in France. I'm doing my family research now, right? Gala is another word in France called Gila. Gila, Gali, or something like that, right?
Goals.
Or the goals with the Gala. And I'm sitting there saying, wait a minute. Goals, Gala. We were in France. I said, man, this is crazy. So mind you, me catching this, like seeing what is happening with our people and how they change the words. Because when you study French, right? They said that they brought Africans in to fight the Germans, because that was a German area, right? So they said Tunisians, Algerians, it was I think it's Sudanese, something of different African nations to fight the Germans. The French did. I said, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me all this stuff is already yours and this sitting right in front of my face? I'm in France, in southern France, right? I don't care about going to northern France, but I was in southern France, and I'm sitting here, and as I'm with these 2 sisters. One was born in France, she's from Algiers. One is born in Tunis. So they're telling me the history of France. And I'm like, yo, this is insane. Like, to see this and document it, and I'm documenting, taking pictures, like, yo, this is crazy. And in my head, I'm trying to remember everything too.
Yeah.
You know, so when I go back now, I can know exactly where to go to. But all of this is art, and the only way we can do it is take it back through our knowledge.
Yes.
So in order to wipe somebody's history out,
Yeah.
let's put them down as only slaves.
Yeah.
Let's put them down, they don't have no history. They were black.
Yeah.
No, they don't have no rights. They have nothing. We gave them everything.
Yeah, definitely. I've got 3 things as well I want to discuss. Words and the power of words. And then also as well, as you said about, I think you're saying, and the connection as well, we were saying about France, and you're talking about, you know, the African nations coming over to help. Just not about 2 weeks ago, or probably November, I mean December now, November, the 8 West African countries have actually
Can you
decided.
move that, please? I need to change batteries. I'm sorry. Yeah, is that okay?
I'm gonna change his batteries for you.
Yeah, man. One sec. Coming back.
Yeah, but there's a lot of history, man, that we gotta uncover.
You got Sony.
And you know, yeah, it's
Yeah.
only a 7. Yeah, it's lovely, man. You have a good cam too there.
Not as good as the Sony, but
It's lovely, yeah, the sound itself, bro. It's amazing.
G9.
It's amazing.
G9?
Yeah.
And you know what is the ancestral curse that we're breaking here? Because this is what I have in my heart. the things that are happening to us now is what we inflicted to them. So
Bam.
this is the payback. This is why we have the responsibility to look
This
after
is
them and
karma.
teach them.
It's called karma.
Karma,
Let me
brother.
tell you
You know what I'm
something.
saying?
Do you know do you know like my son, and I use this as an example, right? I use this as an example.
Yes, brother.
What we did to Europeans is only coming back. My son's mother, when my son was younger, my son, because I was on this journey, I was on this straight journey. That's why I tell people I sacrificed my children for this at one time, and I would never do that again. When my son was born, my son was born in this. One of my sons was really born, one was already here. My son's mother took him when he was 3 because she didn't understand, because her mind was so colonized. She didn't get what was going on. So we conflicted, and she didn't understand the mission. And so people would call me and say, Sabir, stay on the mission. The mission, you're going to live forever. You already planning this. So my son's mother took my son away from me to move to Merle. I'm in Philly. Now, if I was the type of guy that wanted to go get custody or go get her locked up, I could have, because you can't do that, right? My sister said, you know what? Let the ancestors deal with it. One of my sisters said, no, go get her locked the hell up. You know what I mean? That's how it was, right? Because you don't supposed to do that. But I said, I didn't see my son in 10 years until my son was 15. My son was left, she left at 5 years old to 15. So my son felt some type of animosity towards me, right? When I got him on the phone, I moved to LA. My son was in Maryland. His mother calls me on the phone because he started acting out. True story, right? I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone with my son. He sounded like a grown man, not the little boy I remember. So I didn't hear from him at all. No contact. No contact. My son's on the phone. His mother gets on the phone. I never talked about her. I never aired her out. I never said anything bad. She put him on the phone. He talked to me. He said, stay the F out my life. Why did he say that? Because he thought I abandoned him. It's the same thing with the European. So we abandoned them. So what happened, my son thought I abandoned him, and I didn't abandon him. And I never talked about his mother. I said, I'm going to show you what is going on. My son is 22 now. My son been with me since he was 15. My son's always around me. But he has animosity towards his mother, but I don't let him do that. You see what I'm saying? I don't let him talk about his mother, because he don't talk to his mother at all. Because of what she did. It's always going to be karma. And we are still living the same way. We are still living like a colonizer. I don't have no animosity towards neither one of my children's mother, no animosity towards the person that shot me. I was shot 5 times. I don't have no animosity. I'm just going to keep on pushing. I'm going to show you how I am. Not tell you how I am. I'm not perfect by far, but I'm going to show you the type of person I am. Because why? My children are watching this.
So you talk about abandoning. How did we abandon a particular race of people or a group of people?
Because it didn't look like us. Albinos. Go study the history of albino. Albinos are us. They just lack melanin. What do? Send them somewhere else. Get out of here. Go up there. You're no good. Get out of here. And the Caucasus Mountains. Get out of here. Caucasus Mountains. The Caucasus is in Africa. If you study the Caucasus or the Caucasians, that's in Ethiopia. Go talk to an Ethiopian.
Wow.
Go study Ethiopia. Go talk to an Ethiopian. Go see how many mountains is up in Ethiopia. Just talk to them. I'm dead serious. He probably know. Junior.
Yes.
Do you know about the Caucasians in Ethiopia?
Yeah.
See? How? We thinking Caucasians are white people. It's near Lake Tana in Ethiopia. Lake Tana is the river. It's us.
So a group of albino people that have been banished from a certain land and told to live somewhere, they've been able to be able to populate to the point of that.
Yes. It's cold in certain places. If I'm from Philly, but I live in LA. But if I move to Florida, I'm gonna be darker. If I stay up in the northern part, I get paler than a mug, dude. If I go back to LA, I get a little bit of tan. But if I'm staying in certain places, you know what I mean? You know, if I stay in a certain climate for decades and like, what do you think you would look like?
Yeah, you look like me.
Yeah, man.
Just maybe not even be on camera, but just because I'm on my self-discovery, so I'm just learning and hearing. And one of the concepts that I heard was basically of genetics of making different groups of people. Say, in terms of what did they, how would we describe it? Kind of the white man or the white race being actually made, genetically modified.
We made them anyway. We making them. Period.
But making it just like now, women are able
Think
to.
somebody in the lab saying, wait a minute, I'm gonna make this.
Well, it's happening, eh?
Hey, they are doing it now. I'm just saying they're doing it now, but I'm just saying it's
Could it not?
we produce everybody.
Yeah.
I remember Eddie Griffin talking about he made a joke about two people can make me, and something about two of them can't make us. He made a joke behind that.
True. Yeah.
But we can produce any complexion of people on the planet.
Yeah.
None of I have 9 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
None of us the same complexion. We got the same mother and father, same grandmother, same great grandfather, same great grandmother.
Yeah.
We all the same.
You're talking to
But
me as well.
see what I'm saying? So my sister is lighter than me.
Yeah.
Trust me, our hair look totally different.
Yeah.
You see my sister, you be like, they used to think I was different.
Yeah.
They was like, why you light?
Yeah.
3 of us is light.
Yeah.
With freckles.
Yeah.
This is what black folks say, well, you probably got raped in your family. I talked to my grandparents, G. I don't know about that motherfucker. I talked to my grandparents. My grandparents was alive. So, again, this is the stories they tell even amongst our own people.
Yeah.
That, oh, you got mixed with white people. You
But
were
that's
raped.
not the truth.
It is not the truth.
Because it's in us. We
It's in
made
us.
them all.
Yeah, definitely.
So we are doing this,
We
man.
made them all.
Like with green eyes and
Yeah, we had green
I have,
listen,
my cousins have blue eyes, green eyes,
have you ever
man,
seen
all
a
sorts
dark
of
person with
cousins.
green eyes?
Yeah, man. My family.
Sorry, I've got calls in and out of
Yeah.
work, but it's funny because we was having this conversation on the way here, where we were
Yeah.
talking about how we're so conditioned and brainwashed into thinking that the black people, us as a people, come in, you know, 1 or 2 shades, and it's kind of, we created every single shade on this planet.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of it is, though, correct me if I'm wrong, because of the Atlantic slave trade in particular, because it was at the coast of Africa, so Ghana, like Gambia, the coast of Africa, when they took the slaves from there and took them to the Caribbean, they tend to have been a lot darker, and that's why a lot, especially the Caribbeans in particular, typically associate us as blacks as being of darker skin, whereas South Africans and different places that wasn't necessarily enslaved the same way as different regions of the continent were, that we have been conditioned to think that black is tend to be one
complexion,
shade.
exactly,
Yeah, it's
one
not.
shade, and that's not
There's-
true.
Our family is mad. I mean, there's lots. There's what, 12, 11 brothers
Oh, it's
and sisters.
12 of y'all?
Yeah,
Good gosh.
so-
And we all look
and we all look the same, but we are all different shades. When we
All
get
different
different
shades.
shades of brown, and we've all got the same features, and we can tell them from the same father. But we're all
There you
different
go.
shades of brown, and it's beautiful because it shows the beauty of our people.
The
But-
rainbow.
Yeah, but unfortunately, there's still a lot of colorism within our community.
And you use the word brown as well, and not.
Yeah, they use the word brown. But
Yeah.
when I was in Tunis, I was in a house with brother named Madi, and as I'm sitting in his house, I'm looking at his mother, I'm looking at his grandmother. I said, "Good God, they dark. They dark."
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at them like they dark,
Yeah.
and we thinking that Africans have one texture of hair.
No,
No,
gosh,
no,
even
no.
blonde hair comes from Africa.
Yeah.
You got to
All
try
of this
it.
stuff is
Look at
us.
Australia. Look at the Aborigines in Australia.
Aborigines.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sitting like, are you serious, man? Like, I'm sitting with the people in Morocco. They telling me about the Tuareg, the ones that have locks in their hair that wraps their hair up. They have their hair wrapped up in a turban. And I'm sitting like, yo, okay. They said if you went down, you'll blend straight in. I said, really? I'm looking at the history, like, not from a textbook. I'm there. I'm not looking at internet. I'm sitting with these people. I'm going doing what J.A. Rogers, peace, brother. Peace, sister.
Peace.
I'm going with J.A. Rogers and all these people went to back then on this journey. To see it firsthand, it's amazing. I'm gonna tell you, it's so amazing to see it, and you'll see all of us. Like you can see the Empress, you'll see him, you'll see somebody look like you see somebody look like him. You'll be like, wait a minute. And they'll say, oh no, that's due to slavery. That's what black folks are. That's due to slavery. No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, it's shocking because I was so told that I've got a bit of enlightenment about storylines. And this is really big for me where I feel like everything is on a storyline, no matter what. It's like as you said, that people are telling people that, you know, it's because of slavery. So for me, slavery in the UK, you've got Black History Month, and where it starts from is school.
Yeah, we have it here.
We're going to talk about that for a minute.
But, well, the teaching and the continuing teaching, and even I feel like us ourselves as well, what we're always talking about is slavery. So it becomes a repetition of a storyline
Yes.
that keeps us locked in this, you know, in this kind of thought or this psychological thought of I am less than, I don't have, you know, and not actually discovering or the greatness is to step outside of it. So, what meaning that the storyline of slavery?
But you know that's going on in the States right now. Tyrese was talking about how we're gonna keep making slave movies. You didn't see him when he's talking about? He said how many times we gonna keep making slave movies?
Yeah, exactly.
But we don't have the finances to do it. We don't have the finances to put it together, even though I can tell a storyline ungodly. I can make a connection.
Yeah.
But the finances has to be there.
But do we need the finances anymore? There's platforms, you know, things are changing the way our people are viewing television, the way our people are actually connecting. There's actually, I feel like, I always say, if it's not there, create it yourself.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. So what he does, use that. But the key is, like, we went downtown here, and I'm looking at a big billboard with Jumanji 2. I said, oh, they got Kevin Hart, The Rock. That's what I'm talking about. Let's do something like that so the world can see that. So us doing it here, and I did a movie. I did a movie called Abandoned Act with Big Red from 5 Heartbeats. I did that, right? How many people know about that? Where's the showman's of that? You see what I'm saying? So the movies, it's like they put millions of dollars behind stuff like that. To put that on a billboard, that's a lot of, in the States, it's like $50,000 a month. In the States. So I'm imagining something like that, how much that costs. You know, who's going to put up the money for that? You follow me? So again, we need more than one camera person. You know, we need people that actually have finances to say, look, we're going to take $500,000 and do this movie. That's what we need. You follow me?
That's what's happening, brother.
That's
We're
what's
gonna
happening.
get together,
So
man.
you
That's
have
what's
to, this is what I'm
happening.
trying to tell you, but you need a team to do that. And I sat with writers, because I am a writer, and I wrote certain things in certain movies. You know what I mean? But again, the finances has to be there to tell our story. I can tell a story about Carter G. Woodson, who actually his book is sitting right there. The Miseducation of the Negro. He started Negro Week, not Black History Month, G. It was called, study Carter G. Woodson. He started Negro Week. There wasn't no such thing as Black History Month. They started Black History Month to take you away from history.
Exactly. It comes back against it. Finance, economics. So for me, I think that the skill that we should be on or talking about is to actually saying this is how we're empowered in this system that's been built. We have to come together as an economic, you know, stronghold as a people to then talk about the stories that are, you know, that doesn't keep us perpetuating around this, you know, this psychological brainwashing. And then we start talking about the heroes. Then we have, you know, superheroes who are black that look like us, and I feel like that's coming through now. I feel like there's a difference in storytelling, but I feel like this conceptual world or the system, for me, I always say there's some people that are born for it. So the system made people to feed it, born to it. There's some people that are beaten to feed it, and some people that just go with the flow, you know. But with this system, I feel it the only way it exists is on telling a particular story and keeping people believe in that story.
But that's what they do, because in the States, I live in LA, and I'm gonna tell you, I know a lot of people in this industry, and they would tell me, Sabir, you got the stories, but you need the finances behind it. We were in Philadelphia, excuse me. Karis One, Kumo D, Lady B, Charlie Mack, we all was in the studio in Philly. Karis One looks and told Charlie Mack, I know Charlie Mack, I grew up with Charlie Mack, we know the history. Like, I went there for the show, because my sons are in Philly, so I go back to Philly. So we all in this room, and Karis One points directly to me and said, well, you got Bay right here in the city with you. Why you not utilizing him? Why you not backing him? Kumo D saying, yo, sponsorship is the key to everything. Kumo D is saying this. Karis One saying the same thing. Karis One explaining that certain stuff don't get sponsored. You see what I'm saying? Because what happens don't fit their narrative. If it's about slavery, if it's about white supremacy, if it's about post-traumatic slave syndrome, y'all put money behind it. And those same people that sit here and tell you this is not doing anything for our people. So if it's like, if I'm coming and say, yo, dude, this is who we are. Yo, how much you want to put up to make this thing work? No, I ain't got it, G. I had to, you know what I mean? I'm going to go to Miami.
You know what I mean? I'm going to Miami for a while. You know, we're not doing it. It don't fit their little clique, so they won't support it.
Because within that storyline, it keeps people locked.
It keeps you locked. And this
So
is
then we
why,
have to change the
but see, you
storyline.
gotta get to certain people. Listen, I went to Tyler Perry Studios.
Yeah.
And I never forget going to the gate. It was so funny. He wanted $10,000 to go. Like somebody, I think it was Mel Jackson. He said to interview, to go talk to Tyler Perry is $10,000. I was literally at the gate.
Yeah.
I said, nigga, what am I paying him $10,000 for? I'm the one that got the story.
Yeah.
But you gotta be somebody, right? So I'm looking at all these little things that block you, right? So
Yeah.
Tyrese is coming out
Yeah.
saying why we keep making slave movies. Tyrese ain't got the money for that.
Yeah.
People think they got money, but they don't have the money to really tell a story, right?
Yeah.
I've spoken with many different people, but you have to have the finances behind you. In order to get the finance, you have to do what? Either you got to go overseas, talk to somebody else, because that's what's probably going to happen. You might have to get it from somebody overseas, because you ain't going to get it from our people.
But why not? That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, why not? I feel like that's the message that we should be saying.
I
Everybody
agree.
needs
I
to
agree.
stand
I've been saying this for years.
move together.
I've been saying it for
because then
years.
you'll be a political power. People have to come and consult you to do anything because we're strong.
I listen.
How?
Jealousy and envy. And this is why we're not going nowhere.
Oh.
If I'm not talking about, again, white supremacy, post-traumatic slave syndrome, the crack is the devil, stuff like that, or Jesus Christ.
Well, that's their story. That's
I know that, but it makes it hard. I know, sister, but it's really, really hard. And I've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing radio for 15 years. Like, you know, in my journey, nobody was giving me money when I was on radio. I had to pay $300 a week
Yeah.
to put this information. You know how that makes you feel? You already know. It will break you, G. Literally, it will break you. And then when you broke, right, they'll say, oh, he ain't doing that. He's a broke mother. This is our people. They belittle you if you're not, you know, if
They're
you're broke.
waiting.
You know,
Waiting for that.
for that to happen.
Watch.
And trust me, they waiting for me to do that. But I make stuff look fun.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want much.
Yeah.
I don't want much. I don't live. I'm not here for Gucci and for Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
I'm not here for the Bentleys and the Benzes. I'm good. I jump in an Uber.
Yeah.
I was on a train in Tunis. They thought I was crazy. And they said, watch your pockets. I'm like, nigga, I'm from Philly, dude. Like, I'm on a grinding train in Tunis, Africa, and I'm riding on it.
Yeah.
I'm not in. Listen, you gotta get rid of all the worldly things. That's why when you was just telling me about where you are at and where you at now,
Yeah.
and I said that's a story.
And I'm living.
Listen,
So good.
Careless once said, lose your job and find your work.
Yeah.
What happens? You have to lose everything to find yourself,
Yes.
and that's what it is. I know this, so I don't hold on to anything. I be like, listen, if it's not meant for me, let it go. This is my mentality. Let it go. It's not me. The Creator's gonna look out for you. People don't even know how I'm moving now. They say, well, how do you do it, Samir? Well, you see that interview I posted up, the girl said, Samir, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
How do you do it? I said, I don't know. In my brain, Karis One, you should sit there and tell you, if you do for the community will look out for you. I said, okay, maybe that's what it is.
I think in terms of the message of Christ, what they've got is in service. And then
Come
in
on.
service it comes back. So it's really
Yes.
to serve.
Yes.
You came and served, you know.
You have to be a service to people. And this is, and I get this.
Every exchange.
Yeah, and I get inspiration from certain people that I know. My brother Mel Jackson, the actor, he said, Sabir, he said, your job, what he said, I'm trying to remember what he said. He said, your job is to be of service to other people.
Yeah.
This is what he said to me.
That should be everybody's job now.
That's not everybody's job, because everybody's not like us. But because some people are looking for attention.
Yeah.
It's like people on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
There's a piece with Denzel Washington talking about this. He says, it's not about how many likes you hit.
Yeah.
It's about who life you change and who you inspire.
Yeah,
We
that's
looking for
where we
likes.
are.
We looking for clicks. We looking for those things. So Denzel said it's not about that. It's about who you inspire.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So why are we looking for likes?
Yeah.
They talk about anything on YouTube and Facebook now. Yeah. You know what? Guess who's gay?
Yeah.
You know, who cares?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not
Yeah,
gay.
it's true. It's true.
Shoot, I don't care who's gay. You know, we argue. This is the stuff that we argue. I know, and in the States, this is what's pops off. They say, well, this person's a pedophile. Do you know how long the priests been pedophiling people? Who's going to step to the church and talk about the priest doing stuff? But we beat each other up. And this is what I'm saying. We are doing it. We will beat people up. And the church is in every black city.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you ain't in front of no church protesting pedophilia.
Yeah.
You follow me? Like, they have been doing it for years. But you know why? You know the history of the church?
I don't know, but I did go to the Vatican the other day, not too long ago, I walked in there and I was absolutely shocked to see the cherubs being babies, naked babies with a bit of wings and gold everywhere. So I'm like, because for me, I'm reading and my journey, the Bible don't talk about babies with no clothes on, gold on the walls. We need to go.
I'm gonna go. God willing, if I get the finances, I definitely will go there.
Yeah.
But I'll do a live with it with a fez on my head. I'll be able to fez on like, here you go. But
Is there a connection there?
but there is a connection there. But there's a law called the canon laws. The canon laws are the laws of the Catholic Church. They can't touch nobody in the church unless the church puts them out. It's the laws of the church. It's like it's an embassy or a sovereign ground without being in Vatican. So they could be all the way in the States. It's a city. You can't touch no priests. And this is why you notice none of these so-called black people when the pop challenge these people. You can't touch them. A cop can't even lock a priest up unless the church picks them out. This is why they can move them from one place to the next place to the next place. I'm from Philly. I remember Lynn Abraham was talking about prosecuting this priest in Philly. And I'm laughing. I said, she ain't touching that dude. And guess what they did? She didn't. They moved him to another parish. She couldn't touch him unless the church puts them out.
I want to go to the power of the word and using words for everything, and especially music and words.
You can warm up, yeah.
I find the power. Whatever you speak comes back. I believe that we're actually talking our existence or talking our journey, whatever. I think words manifest.
Words does have power.
Yeah. So in terms of even all the power, because from the biblical quote, let there be light, and light is born. So it's vibration. It's it's the word that manifests. In terms of words manifesting, and even us, the African race or the Moor race, in their learning. What am I trying to say? Okay, let's just take this back to hip hop and words. Are we manifesting our existence, our life, our experiences
We are.
through our music?
Can I tell you
our-
why? Can I tell you from my experience? This is the funniest thing. I would never say certain things about me no more. When you cast, they call it casting spells. It's an energy you put out. My mother used to say to us, if you don't have nothing good to say about somebody, don't say it. You follow me? Don't say it. Before I got shot, I was shot 5 times, right? Everywhere I've gotten shot, I called it. No lie. And this is the craziest thing. I said I was going to live. No lie. Like I said I was going to get hit in my head, which I did. I was going to get hit in my arm, and I said I was going to hit in my chest. But I got hit in my wrist, my chest, and my back, and my head, right? But I said I was going to live, but I called it. Just like Tupac called his death. He said death around the corner. He called his death. We are calling these things out to existence.
I called to go back home.
Exactly, but you calling them to happen. So when we say I'm a ho, 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 you're going to become a ho, ho, ho. If you say, yo, kill, 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 you're going to kill, kill, kill. You're going to have no remorse. When you say I'm black, 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 you're going to become black, black, black. And the vibrations, you constantly putting that out there. Constantly, and you start imitating it. You're imitating, not knowing that that's what you're doing. And this is what they're doing in hip hop.
And then you end up in trap music, and then you end up with chains in your neck, and you buy the chains from the master slaver from Italy, the Gucci, and the Masonic people. And
Yo, this is what's
continue on that.
popping right here, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
This is what's popping over here,
But
man.
here I am with my chain in my neck.
You know, they understand the vibrations in it. Trust me, this is why I did a video last night, and I went for 2 hours. And I got a text that said, yo, Sabir, you was on here for 2 hours and 4 minutes, right? And I'm sitting there saying, no, it's the reason why I'm doing this. And I don't care if they block me on YouTube because I know it needs to be put out, right? Because the vibration, the music that I'm playing for the vibrations of the people, so you can see it's more than what you see here on radio. Because being in radio, I've been in rooms that I literally will argue with people. I argue with these black people in the States wanting to talk about and bring certain stuff to the radio. They said it's not the white man. They said no, we can't talk about that. No, we ain't gonna play that. You know why? Because sponsors ain't gonna they're not gonna back it. You follow me? Sponsors is not gonna back it.
Like KRS saying that in 1992 on Yo MTV Raps, when he's talking about that, you were talking, I was just seeing like 2 weeks ago, I went to back on the flashback, and he's talking that on the heart of the MTV, Yo MTV Raps, he's there, and he's talking exactly about that.
No, but he says that. He's still doing it. And that's why he always said FMTV. Because we that's in this industry, we know what's going on.
Yeah.
We see it. We know that they come to us with money. They came to me, they came to Chris, because we have these conversations. And we know they say, yo, don't talk about this. How much you want? So imagine somebody, me, they coming to me saying, yo, dude, I give you 100 grand. And I'm saying F you, because it's a trap, right? Remember I told you about the McDonald's, right? When I was leaving the radio station? What did I tell you? I said, they watched my video for years, right? I was going to do a show in Vegas. They said, yo, we got a sponsor for you. I said, who? They said McDonald's. Nigga, I don't eat McDonald's. So mind you, I don't eat McDonald's. So they'll catch you somewhere along the line to say, look, he did it. And what did I say to you in the car? I said, I should have took that money. Didn't I say that? Yeah. That's like telling a crack dealer, if you give a crack dealer a $50,000 pack, you think he ain't going to take it? He going to take it. Because he going to eat. So people don't understand the journey and why. So I fight to say, look, I'm going to put this type of music out here. And even if I got to put my money up, I want this music out so y'all can see it and feel it. My shows was based around, I used to have a show on LA Talk Live. It was called Tribute to Legends. I would do Stevie, Maze, Frankie Beverly. I would do stuff like that, right, for the vibration. Then I would bring hip hop in. I would bring real hip hop in on the air. So what happened? That was coming out of my pocket to do that. It wasn't no big people behind me giving me $100,000 to $50,000 for that. If you gave me 50 grand, you know what I would do? Let me tell you something. They say this: the most powerful man on the planet will be the one that has knowledge and share it, the one that has the Quran. And they said it was one other one that has the knowledge and share it, the one that has the Quran and the money. So if you have that, imagine what you can do. That nobody can tell you what to do. You see what I'm saying? That is the power.
Do you think that's happening? Because I feel like it's an awakening.
It's coming. It is coming. But this man don't ever stop. He's going to work overtime. And this is what they do with us. They work overtime to try to get us. What do he like? Oh, he likes to play with little boys. Let's see if we can put the boy in front of him that's naked. Let's see if we can put that girl in front of him.
He likes
and 9 times out of 10, what do? We fall for it. Damn, she's finer than a mug, dude. I got all this money. Well, you want to go to the strip club? They do it. They do it. And this is why you have to walk with blinders on. You have to walk not looking right, not looking left, but looking straight ahead. You can't get distracted because it happens. And this is why I said I've seen some of these people that come into this and their ego explodes. You see what I'm saying? And that will be their downfall. The ego will destroy you. Everything is vibrations. Everything is frequencies. And they're going to test you many different ways. What do he like? He likes to be in front of the camera. Not me. Utilize the camera. But you got to understand what the camera is. Listen, when Malcolm X, right? This is the crazy thing with Malcolm X, and I study history. I study history and I study Malcolm, I study our people. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad was so sharp and so smart on what he was doing. Why? He said something to Malcolm X, and nobody paid no attention. They didn't understand why he told Malcolm, don't make no public statements. Because he understood the press, and he understood Malcolm. A person knows their student. He knew that Malcolm liked to talk. So the first thing they did is they shot a mic in his mouth, and he said, well, chicken come home to roost never made me sad, it always made me glad. They took that one part and left and ran with it. That's why I was talking about the cameras. When I came in, I said, how many cameras? We got to have our own cameras. Because we don't know what somebody's going to do. So they took that one piece that Malcolm said and ran with it and made Malcolm out the criminal. So, but Elijah knew that Malcolm liked to talk. You see what I'm saying? They knew that they can get him riled up. Then Malcolm may say something, and they'll take what he said and they run with it. And that's what the media did. It's the same thing happening right now. I'm watching people on social media. I'm watching these cats who want to jump on CNN and Fox News, and the cat will sit up there, a guy like Roland Martin. Well, how much are you making? That's what they said. How much you make? I'll make 600,000. Ego, 600,000. Really? I just got you. You see the game? You fed into what I said. Now, if you ask me something like that, I'm going to say, wow, it's none of your business.
Exactly.
You follow me? That's how you got to deal with these people. Because they're watching you.
It's true. You said something about vibration. You like this? You said about vibration and frequency. If you kind of take yourself out of the story take yourself out of the world and kind of look from a perspective from a higher place and see it as a frequency or vibration, then everything within this construct of the world, this is how I'm feeling, is that everything is a concept.
Yeah.
The sun becomes a concept, the planets, you know, and I feel like it's words on a timeline that make up this world. So you've got a timeline that says like history or time, which is illusion.
Yes,
you
I
know.
would say it is an illusion.
But it's an illusion, but it's something that makes this world work. You think?
Everything operates in cycles.
Cycles.
Spin cycles.
Yeah.
That's why they call it spin cycles in my launching it.
Yeah.
Spin cycles.
Yeah.
You follow me? That's all it is. Once you understand it, what is this? What is this?
Japan.
How? What makes it a palm? What is this?
It's the concept of what words have been given to describe something that you're moving, which is a
It's the
power.
same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's what you do with it.
Yeah.
I can ball my fist up and punch you with it. Or what? I can smack you with it. It's still his hand.
Yeah.
Think about the craziness. It's what you call it.
Exactly, but that's what I'm talking
Look
about.
at it.
That's what I'm talking about. And that's the thing that makes us being able to communicate is words and concepts.
It's what you call it.
And then therefore then it becomes a storyline. And I'm saying about the storyline being trapped in a certain storyline. And then everyone I feel has a story or makes a story. You've got a destiny. You're speaking your words into fruition, manifestation. Well, everything's a storyline, and I feel personally to a point where I'm saying, okay, now there's many different storylines that are going on in society. And wherever you want to hang your hanger and be, you can, meaning if you're, meaning like your spiritual being having a human experience. So if you're from your spirit first, and this is a mere experience, which they say is a holographic world, we can manifest things with our words, manifest things with our energy, then I actually think that everything is a storyline. So then you're fitting in to this world wherever you feel that your spirit
Exactly.
is or needs to evolve. And I feel like I've had a few near-death experiences. And when I actually went to a certain place like out of this world or near death, I really felt like my spiritual character, that's the thing that I leave with.
Go ahead. No, you keep talking. She want this.
Yeah,
That's how you do that, y'all. Y'all over there talking.
That's it.
Y'all over there doing like this. I'm like, yo, this ain't yo. She wants the tea. She didn't know.
Thank you.
Anybody else want a drink?
Now I'm getting coffee. I'm getting coffee. But it's a spiritual journey because you said you had a near-death experience. I was dead twice. I saw it. So this is even why I can adapt to wherever I go.
So when you had the near-death experience, what did you see? That then gave you enlightenment.
You know what is crazy? When I got shot, I saw everything flashing in my head like from when I was probably 8 years old. Everything was flashing in my head and it was going back real fast. Like you pushing a rewinder on a tape, you'll see it, everything, right? That's what I saw. I saw my body on the bed when I was shot. I literally looked at myself laying there, not the second time, the first time, but I was dead. They had to bring me back. You can see when they was hitting me in my chest with the thing. They was hitting me and I came back. So it's a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual. It's not. You know, it's like I saw answers. I saw stuff that I never saw growing up. You know what I mean? Like stuff that was over here. I'm like over in Africa. I'm like, yo, what is this? You know, so it's a spiritual journey. You know. But but that's what it is though. But words have power. Very much so.
Let's bring it on for now because, brother, I would love to, and I'm sure this is gonna happen, and continue this relationship.
Thank you.
No,
Conversations.
No, we're gonna do it again, man. I'm here. I'm gonna be here, so he should go with me on the streets.
Come on, let's do it.
That's a great idea.
Do it on the street. Cause honestly, I've been trying to get people to go with me to different places because I'm working on something that have enough money that I could take a camera crew with me so you can film the conversation. So you can see it and feel it at the exact same time because he's from Lisbon. He knows, like if I went with him, he knows certain places. I can tell the history down.
Can you repeat the
About
event?
Lisbon, but he can tell you also. You follow me? Like, okay, this is what's going on, and this is what this is over
Before
here.
it cuts off.
That's what we need. We need more people like that.
And
Could
you
I
know
just...
what?
Can I just ask, what's your opinion on using the N-word in hip hop and in rap culture? Like, you know, because there's two schools of thought. Two schools of thought. Some agree with it, some not. I mean, I don't agree with it at all. But
You say you don't agree with it?
No, I don't think we should be using that language.
Why?
I think that there's people think that we're reclaiming it and we're owning it, but how can you own something that originated with hatred? And I know.
Can you keep on that again, my sister? What are you saying? You were saying something about the word. No, forget about the camera. You know.
Lord mercy, sorry. No, I was saying that I don't agree with that, especially today. In terms of, I come from the school of thought that we shouldn't be verbally abusing our brothers and sisters by using that language when, regardless of the origin, I know that there's a lot of history with the origin, and like you said, you know, nigger and all these different terminologies for it. But in today's society, it's not using an endearing way, and the way it's.
Oh, really?
Well, what I see
It depends on who's saying it.
Yeah, that as well.
Okay.
And then now when you listen, you go into. I remember going to the Nicki Minaj concert. Remember, sister, and she's, you know, she's rapping and she's like, yeah, man. And then all these white people like say, yeah, man. And I'm thinking that we're actually giving them the power to use this language, and it's really hard for us to kind of have ownership over it.
You take it back regardless. Listen to
Do you
me.
think?
If you don't like the word nigga, you should like the word black.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Let me show you how Europeans did it. Nigga is Latin,
Yeah.
right? Negro is Spanish. Black is English. So I can call you a nigga in English and get away with it. Nigga.
Yeah.
What's up, black man? What black woman? I'm going to use it in an English term for you. Now I'm going to get away with it.
Yeah.
You see how crazy it is? But we have a different terminology on how we use it. We say nigga as a term of endearment. Yo, what up, my nigga? It's a conversation. It's slang. That's all it is slang. Take it. It's nothing is Europeans. It's nothing that's white. It's called Moorish Latin. Latin is not theirs. It's yours. Moorish Latin. They use Latin in law. It has nothing to do with them. It has something to do with you.
Yeah.
So, like she said about the vibration. Everything has a vibrations and a frequency in it.
Yeah.
So I'm using certain things by nature. We are doing things naturally. I see cats with locks naturally growing locks. Why are you growing locks, dude? Why you got mohawks in your head, dude? That's natural. It's something natural. But what it is with us, because we have been conditioned, we're fighting against nature. We're fighting against nature and going on what Europeans are saying. You see what I'm saying? Well, why do we call people white? They're not white people. We still giving them the power. They're not white people. Call them Incavans. Call them troglodytes. Call them that, because that's exactly what they are. Incavan, it's a German word. Inca. They have a bank in Germany called Incavan. The bank. Incavan, that's them. Call them who they are, because they're not white people. Incavan, troglodytes, Europeans.
Because Negus is a beautiful word. Negus is where it came from. Negus is royalty, you know, and you spin the word, you gotta spin the word, and then you're not even entitled to use a word that is beautiful for yourself, man.
Yeah, but
you know?
It means king of rulers. It's an Ethiopian word. But they use connotations and denotations for certain things.
that's not how we're using it though, is it? That's not how we
This is who we are. It's ours. It's
But if we are
Negus.
naturally
it back.
saying something,
Claim
right?
it back.
If we're naturally,
Take it back.
right? Saying it, it's not something that we're saying it because it's in our DNA.
Yeah.
We're fighting what's in our DNA. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're fighting. It's you. Like when you speaking, it's something that's naturally coming out because it's already in you. What we're doing, because we have been indoctrinated for 12 years of brainwashing camp, and then we got another 6 years of brainwashing camp in college. This is how you're supposed to speak. Speak properly. Speak the Queen's language. Speak this way. You're not saying it right, Sabir. You got to say it with your get the hell out of here. Like, stop.
Hold on your power, walk like in eggshells, all of these things that they tell you to do.
Let me
So
say
then how
how
comes in like music, it's only us that can use like derogatory language and everything's fine, but we can't use other derogatory slurs towards our counterparts, you know, like so they banned music, you can't use the word cracker in a lot of music, you can't use offensive
so they should stop using
language
black
in, so then how comes it's acceptable within the music culture for us? I'm just asking because I'm
No, you're right, because anything, even it was something I was reading about hip hop, and it was talking about how anything about this is guy. It was a European guy was on TED Talk. I can't think of this dude's name. He was on TED Talk, and he was talking about I can talk about killing our people, how many people we killed, but we can't talk about killing cops. Like he was talking about something like that. They'll push that. on.
Yeah.
They'll push that on media.
Yeah.
Because it sells. And this is the same thing with world stars. With that, if it's anything pertaining to degrading us, killing us, we killing ourselves, we murderers, they'll push that out there.
We treat our women, our sisters, our wives, our mothers.
They'll push that.
Yeah, show that.
But they use an example as Rick Ross. They said he did something one time, right? He talked about women. They said, "Nah, dude, we're gonna pull your sponsorship. You can't." They all got together and said, "Nah, dude, that's not happening." You see what I'm saying? We're gonna pull your sponsorship. You can't talk about spiking no woman, Drake.
Yeah.
But you can talk about killing your brother, how many black women you having sex with. We'll let you promote that, but you don't touch the women, white women on top of that. You can't talk about spiking their drinks, G. You follow me? So they push these things out, and everything is based on sponsorship. If a ball player don't do what they do, want them to do, Nike will pull their sponsorship. Adidas will pull their sponsorship. They will pull sponsorship, and this is what our people don't get of what sponsorship is. There's things that I've done that brothers say, brother, you should have had millions of dollars sponsoring what you're doing, but I don't. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't fit with any particular group of people. I don't. So I have to go outside of here. We have a film already come out on Ethiopia. It's called Heavy as the Crown. And I said, watch, if I do this film, who's going to back it? Ethiopians going to back it. Our people won't do it. Ethiopians will put up the money for it because it has something to do with them. It's have an interest in them to get this message out. You see what I'm saying? So we have to look at that. We only have to correct it. And I think I spoke about niggas in that film. I believe I explained it in there. But we have to show people what that word means. Like I said, if you don't like nigga, you shouldn't like black. You follow me? So I don't have a problem with people saying the word nigga. I say nigga too sometimes. It slips out. I'm from the streets, nigga, you know? What up, my nigga? Nigga. Puerto Ricans say nigga more than we say nigga in New York. They say nigga more than we. They be like nigga, my nigga this, my nigga. I'm like, y'all say nigga more than we say nigga.
So can I also ask, sorry, I'm just so I know you've got all this knowledge. Do you think, hypothetically, or maybe not, black people will unite from across the diaspora? You know, there's this massive segregation with UK blacks, with Americans, with Africans. We've all got these different, our own versions of oppression and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, we're one people. And right about now, there's still a very divided, you know, Americans, Brits, and Africans. Do you think that we'll get to that place within our lifetime, possibly?
We starting it now.
Where?
But it's not going to be in our lifetime. I don't do anything for me right now. It's not about me. It's for his children. Remember, say his children. I didn't say him. His children.
Okay.
And his children's children. It's not about us right now. We're really, honestly, to tell you the truth, we done. Like, done. It's for the children's children. But you started now. So when I'm traveling, I'm building with everybody from Sudan, Somalia, Tunis, Iraq. I'm building with all these people saying, yes, we won. We're the same people. Yo, Sabir, well, I'm Muslim too. Somebody asked me, "Was you a Christian?" What are you, Sabir? I'll be like, "What are you?" I'm a Christian.
Me
Okay,
too.
I'm a Christian just like you. What are you? I'm a Buddhist. I'm a Buddhist today just like you. You know, you're a Jew. I'm a Jew too. Shalom. You know, I see my Ethiopian brother. Salam. You know, we all the same. So that's what you got to do. That's what we must do. I don't separate my people.
So it's like the Chinese. I remember a Chinese, a Chinese friend of mine. She said that she's been taught within her family that they have to prepare for 500 years in the future, not today. So everything that they do economically, socially, politically is not for the next generation. It is literally for 500 years they're working towards that. And they've always been taught that. So yeah, I mean,
it's true.
But His Majesty, last year I said, His Majesty said that when the African people wake up around the world, the whole world will
There
change.
you go.
yes.
Now, you know what was told to me in Boston? When I went to an Ethiopian Tawahedo church, I used to go there all the time. And I go to one in LA. So here, I thought you was a Muslim. Yeah, it's all the same. Tawheed means one. Tawahedo means one. It's the same thing. Tawheed, Tawahedo, same thing. It's
Same
the right-
angels, same metaphors,
Exactly.
same movements, everything is the same.
It's all the same, right? So I'm in the church. I'm downstairs after we go downstairs and eat. So we downstairs. A sister named Mary moved to the United States in 1974. She said she never knew about color. She said, I was depressed for like 5 or 6 years because she didn't understand why people in America were looking at her different and talking about her. She was dark. She's dark as you. right? So we talking, and she said, if the black man and woman in America don't wake up, we're gonna be left standing by ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what she said to me.
Yeah.
In Boston, in an Ethiopian church, if we're not united with other people, people act like, especially blacks, we always act like we are the only ones went through slavery or went through something that's bad. We were not the only ones.
Yes.
I heard horrible stories, dude, about Ethiopians and Somalians and what they're going through now. Watching somebody get shot in the middle of the street. I said, dude, I never would. I mean, I witnessed it in Philly, but I'm saying not like this, you know. But the stories of him being his age, watching somebody, his family, get killed in the middle of the street, not once, not twice, but living. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So we were not the only ones that went through that. We are in a better position to do certain things. All the technology we got in the States, because I told you, the world is waiting for us to wake up.
Yes.
For Americans to wake up. So all the technology we have in the world, it's easy. I'm sitting in places. I was in Africa. I'm telling people I was cold. I said, shoot, I gave up an Airbnb. I went to hope Medina don't get mad at me, but I went to his family house in the hood, in Tunis, somewhere I'd never been. I wake up, the water was cold. I said, damn, it's cold. I'm comfortable. Right? I'm comfortable where I was at. But I left my comfort zone to see how other people live. So we're comfortable in the States. How is it that we can wake up and got warm water?
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Then when you go somewhere, you see how other people live. You be like, dude, that's gangster. I'm watching people make clothes out of fruit. I said, what the hell? I'm watching people in the Atlas Mountains don't have a jackhammer. He got a machine hammer with strings on his motherfucker, like in 2019. And I'm like, dude, we are so comfortable. Like, I'm start stripping everything. I said, man, you want this? Now, here. I'm going through the airport now, giving sneakers away. Here, take this, brother. You want these? Take. This is what I was doing because I'm comfortable. And the key is in the States, they make you comfortable. We are so but in the federal prison, they don't let you get comfortable. The feds move you around. G. My brother did 21 years in the Fed prison. He said, I've been in every state there is. He said, the feds don't let you get comfortable, but for some reason, we are comfortable. We're comfortable. Now I'm going to ride around the corner to the gym. What? I want to ride around the corner to the store. What? 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 Walk to the store. It's right. It's 2 blocks away. You know, we're comfortable. You don't never supposed to get comfortable.
Last question.
My African brothers and sisters, they said it's so weird, like coming from Africa to here, the UK. It's like, what are you talking about? Listen, we don't get free houses.
The internet is crazy over there.
Oh my gosh, we don't get benefits. You don't get nothing, but yet still you're moaning and you're not getting up. Doing whatever you have
we're
to
nowhere
do.
near where we should be. We're nowhere near where we should be as a people that have all this privilege in some ways. We don't have the same struggles and we don't keep comfortable. It's definitely an agenda.
That is the key.
I'm so sorry to keep.
It's all love. It's all love. I'm
really
good.
fast. It's just so lovely to kind of tap into your knowledge. But I'm quite a practical, pragmatic person, and I think that the society that we're living in, it's difficult at the best of time, and there's so much damage that's being done to our people. And a lot of us come from family homes and communities where there is a lack of education, there is a lack of knowledge of self, of being. If you could give me 3 practical, like everyday skills or a lesson that I could kind of take out and provide and give my son or my children a tangible skill so we can navigate the system and not lose our identity, be able to still kind of be woke and be conscious about the choices that we make, but also realistically living in a society where we're the minority and our people, a lot of our people are still kind of lagging behind. So there's a few, and it's a growing group of people, but there's still them challenges where every day there's always a battle, there's always a challenge. When you leave your house, you're having to kind of compromise on a lot of things just to be able to kind of navigate. And one of the things I'm struggling personally with finding that balance with, I have to have a job, I have to work, I can't just do the whole kumbaya and God's gonna provide this, that, and
That's what they think. Kumbaya, God's gonna give me everything.
God will give me everything. He will, and He is. But it still comes with work. So some practical like.
Can I tell you something? What was told to me? Invest in your children. Listen, and when I say invest, somebody asked me a question one time, would you invest in your child going to college? I said no. He said, what do you mean? I said I would invest in their future. Why? I would invest in them traveling.
Yes.
That's the key, right? Teach them to be themselves. Teach them to be themselves and watch out for the traps. Teach them to create things. Create something that you can say it's mine. You see what I'm saying? Like when I was doing my show, I was creating these things. I was creating. So nobody owns my masters of anything or my cassette tape. None of my. You hear me say cassettes, right? Cassette tapes. But I have masters. He's at a young age that you teach him how to be himself and how to create. And best believe me, I don't know him, but I'm feeling him right now. I bet you he's in the house doing something. This is the problem we have. Let me tell you how we are, right? You ever see a child play? A child creates when they play. Let them play. Stop telling them to go sit down. Their creativity is happening. They're playing and they're creating. So watch him create. So what we do as parents, we say, "Oh, shut up, be quiet, and go sit over there."
I think
No,
my son
let
just laughed then because he's moving down the dog upstairs. Go sit down and stop it.
Yeah, because what happens, let him create. He's creating. Because it may be something it's in him. What we do as parents, we stop that. We stop it. Create. When people tell me my son, I'm like, let my son do what they do. But I'm here as a father. I will encourage him. You know, get them now while they're young. Because you get them while they're old, it's kind of hard because now the system got them. Get them while they're young. And you got to constantly be on top of them. So teach them how to create something. You know, because it's already in him. The technology we have out here today, honestly, these video games, dude, use your tools. Use your tools and know how to, you know, create. Teach them that. Teach, invest in them. Teach them more. Take them on trips. Go let them teach because later on in life he may be doing that. He may see something that I wish my parents did that. Take them on a journey with you. If you want to spend $50,000, $20,000 in college, you can take the $20,000, $30,000, go take them overseas and travel. That's the best education. That's what J.A. Rogers said. The best education is to travel. You'll learn language. Every time I'm in this place, I'll be learning and I leave. I'll be like, damn, I was really learning French. I'm in Spain, I was learning Spanish. Everywhere I went is hola. Did I get the French? Bonjour. Did I get over here? I'm like, God. And you're learning. So imagine as a young person, the sponge that he would be. This is why people in other countries know 3 or 4 languages before they're at a certain age. They know it fluently. So inspire him to do that. It's already in him. And then on top of it, you gotta study his sign too. I'm a Gemini. I'm a communicator.
Same.
Okay, he's a communicator. How did I know? How? How could you pick these things up? That they are communicators, they are creators. We're air signs. We can communicate with anybody. That's us. That's the nature in us. You don't have to teach him anything. It's already in him. Just watch him. And this is another thing that we never did. What we did in our history, in our culture, we never named our children. We waited. We didn't name them when they were born. We watched them. We watched them. Sabir wasn't given to me. That wasn't my name. Sabir was given to me by a Muslim brother over 18, 19 years ago. He gave it to me because it was funny, and I'm going to tell this story. This is the weirdest thing. This is a real story. I used to go argue with the courts, and I would be locked up a lot because I would go serious. I was egotistical. Let's go, man. Y'all ain't got jurisdiction. What's up? Right? They kept locking me up. In the States, it's 3 months, 28, I think it's 6 months, 28 days for contempt of court. Now, mind you, in my head, contempt of court, what do you mean, dude? Contempt of court, you got to have different forms of contempt. Direct, indirect, right? They locked me up for 3 months. Not 6 months, but the whole time they kept bringing me back and forth, I was challenging them, and I had to catch it. Now, my son was young. Remember I told you the journey of my son. He was young. So I'm leaving my son. I never told my son I was locked up. My son thought I was on vacation. I would call him, only 2 numbers I had, my mom and his number, my youngest son. I would be like, yo, dad is ready to come home. I'm on vacation. I'll be there in a minute, right? Every day I'm on the phone. I never watch football, basketball, none of this, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like talking to my son every day, like, yo, I'm ready to come home next week. Knowing I ain't coming home next week, I'm just hyping it up. I was sitting in a cell, you in there for 23 hours and 1 hour out. I used to go to the mosque, the church, and the Catholics. This was me. I would literally go to all of them, like sit with all of them. They was like, what is this dude? Like, so it was a Muslim that was watching me, right? This is over probably 18, 19 years ago. He would watch me, right? And he would say, dude, somewhere along the line in the future, I won't be able to touch you. I said, what do you mean? He said, I said, yes, you will. Old dude, I don't know if he's still living. And he gave me the name Sabir. He said, because I watched you in this prison and you were very patient. He said, I watched everything that you did. People were watching you, literally. And I didn't like the name Sabir. I already had Betty, but I didn't like Sabir because he watched me as I was moving inside there, building with the prison guards, building with the dudes that was in there. But he said, you are very patient. And he gave me the name Patient. And I didn't like it. But now I understand why he gave it to me. Because you have to have patience in doing what we do. And this was over 18 years ago. You know, and it just stuck with me, and that is my name. It's on everything, the passport and everything. And it's not something I have to fill out. That's not something I have to go to court and do. None of that. I walked into it.
Yeah.
So when you walk into your purpose, you see what I'm saying? I'm walking into my purpose. I'm living being patient. And people hit me all the time. What do you tell me all the time? How do I what? He said, I don't know how you do it.
No.
He said, I don't know how you do it, bro. How do you do it? How do you deal with these people? Like, I'm patient.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's my name. It's my nature. But then as I started tapping into my zodiac, I'm sitting like, damn, I'm sitting with Stevie Wonder. He read my whole zodiac one day. I'm sitting with Stevie Wonder. He said, what's your date of birth? I said, he said, what's your date of birth or something? He said, oh, you a Gemini. He dropped astrology on me. I said, wait a minute. Stevie did this without seeing. He knew. He can feel. You can feel an individual's energy.
That's right.
And that's what was going on. So when I'm sitting with him, I'm feeling him, whether I'm looking at him or not. He's there. That's all we got to do is teach them. Teach the youth. It's all in them. The school, get them before the schools get them.
Yes.
My son, when my son went to school, it was crazy because my son was prepared.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's an argument.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we're finding with with my son now. His dad is very much into reading. He's very intelligent, very conscious, and so he knows a lot. So when he's going to school and telling him about Christopher Columbus, he's challenging the school. But then we're getting phone calls, saying blah blah blah, and when it's you got exactly.
What y'all learn about Christopher Columbus over here?
Listen,
from child.
What did I tell you yesterday?
English. England rules America. England is America. America is England.
Yeah, they're in bed
But
together.
they kind of turn it around as though America's the daddy, the
No,
mother,
England.
whereas we are the grandmother.
Yeah.
Really?
And they're
Yeah.
like the grandchildren, but they
Really?
flip it to make us think that.
Yeah.
What did I tell you when I was walking down the street? I said, I'm gonna discover something. I'm gonna walk up somebody's car and I'll discover that mother.
Yeah.
That is mine. It's crazy. But again, before we close,
Okay, so I was here.
we're
with
not
Sabine
Yeah,
today.
we're not.
we're not majority.
Yeah, no.
So
Yeah.
I'm here with
It's true.
Sabine.
It's true. Oh, it's lovely. I could talk to you all day. I've been sat over there, sorry, I was working, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Can you make tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to try my hardest. I'm from Leeds, you see, so so it's not too far, but it's fine.
You got this is Saturday. You probably got stuff for the children.
Yeah, but no, we're here for the weekend, so yeah, definitely going to try and make it. But yeah, no, it's good.
I'm so happy.
From Leeds. I come from Leeds. Chini's here in Manchester.
Where are you from? All the way from LA.
Right,
Come on.
about an
Give us a
hour
little bit. I know on the CV, brother. Could you do that? Because you're the best one to do that. Give us some. Let's know who's in front of us right now.
Travel, G.
Tell me.
Travel is the key to everything, man. Be a Ibn Battuta. Travel. That's the best education is to travel. If not in one spot. And I'm gonna leave you with this because Umi said, Yasin's mother said, the world is too vast to suffer in one place. The world is too vast to suffer in one place. And when she said that, that stuck with me. Traveling is the key. And if you want to invest in your children's future in travel. That is the key to all.
Wonderful.
Ashay.
Blip, blip, blip. So, son, you heard it. Computer games, I've got investing.
Information, man. Of course. Get your information.
Watch out.
Stay in contact with
Yeah,
you, man.
100%, brother.
Definitely. I always say the children pick you up as a parent because there's something that you've got that they need and they've only come through you. So you give them the tools to go through their greatness in the world.
Yes, no doubt.
My connection with my boys, I love you. What you got here to do? What you doing? I'm here to facilitate, to help.
Because of the water still. Can you? I'm gonna give you mine, brother. And I want to take yours as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the state number on my WhatsApp.
Sweet. Can you WhatsApp me if I give you mine?
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
tell
I'm
you what,
gonna do that.
Shoot underwater today. And now
You was shooting underwater.
Yeah, in the swimming pool.
I ain't doing all that, bro. I ain't messing my phones up. I ain't even taking it. I'm not even gonna take that chance, bro. Shooting underwater. I have a GoPro for that mug. If it messed the GoPro up, we good.
Yeah, man, it's true. It's true.
Shoot.
Okay, so what we're doing here, we have to go to plus.
So how long you in the UK for?
I don't know. I'm supposed to leave Sunday, but she wants me to go to. What do you say?
We're organising. Yeah, we're organising.
She wants me to go to the British Museum.
That's nice.
I'm gonna do a Killmonger on the mugs. I'm gonna walk in there. I'm gonna go in there with. I'm gonna go in there with affairs on my. Did that belong to y'all?
I think that the way to put it, I have to go to your contacts first. I'm gonna go there.
Okay.
079.
Look, I'll be like, does that belong to y'all? No, it don't.
You have to definitely check out the connection between America and England.
Yeah, that's what she said. That's what Empress just said. She said, see the connection.
It is because it is in England.
When you put 0044, you don't put the 0 for the 7, right?
No, you put 0. You push.
Plus 4.
Plus-
Yeah.
Or you can do it like that.
Take the 0.
Well, I don't know. That's your thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where George Washington lived. I lived in Oxford for a bit,
Yeah.
and the house where he was born is. We used to go to the house to just have a look around it.
Yeah.
So there's that information there
Yeah,
as well.
no, definitely is. And the thing is, even like with the war between
Okay, cool.
England and
You put
England, that
done.
war, it's England fault. You know what? I'm not fighting these people. Let's go through their politics. Let's go through their administration. You know what I mean? It's still owned. That's
Well,
why.
and there's more to it in terms of who were the presidents, what were they,
Yeah.
where they came from,
Yeah.
you know, and how can you call someone an American when they look nothing like the indigenous Americans?
They're not the original Americans.
So, you know, people kind of get mixed up in terms
Yeah.
of like, you know, they
It's
get
all
all
a
of
lie.
that. How can you be an Australian if you're from England?
Yeah.
So you're taking on someone's identity. Oh, right,
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
So how are you feeling about the whole Brexit thing? You know, today we found out, you know, Tories and the Conservatives. And,
Yeah.
I got a missed call from you now.
I don't
We
know.
got it?
I mean, for the
Yeah, I
first
got you.
time though.
Okay, cool.
in years, in
This is
generations,
your
it's
English
so
phone,
many
yeah?
people out
Yeah, that's
there.
my. Which
Our
one?
people
Which one is it? Is
The
it?
one that I just used
And now
to
it's
call me myself,
flattening,
because it's
you know,
07.
in some ways, you know,
078
a lot of the messages
10.
that we get is-
Hold on 1 second.
07 801 17.
No, I'm gonna give you an English one. Let me give you the other one. I'm gonna give you.
That's the thing, man. I cannot access it now because
Oh,
I need to take
so-
the thing.
Do you know your number?
Yeah, 07.
Yeah.
and then, yeah, you can get it from. Yeah, to switch it that way.
Yeah. So, babe, how could we complain about the system and not be involved in the system and stay far away?
You got to be involved in it, though. You have to be in some kind of way. But which way? You have to be. You know, it's like I used to didn't want
Still
to.
recording, you know that, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, good.
I didn't want to be a part of it, but it depends on what part of the system what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like how are we going to change it? And this is what it was a sister that wanted me to be on a panel with Harvard University on a panel speaking to these people, the elites, because they say they do this thing every year in Harvard and they bring people all from around the world and have these dialogues. And I said, well, sister, make it happen, you know, but something happened with her family and she just disappeared. You know what I mean? She had some issues with her family. She's from Ethiopia, but it was in Boston, you know, but we gotta sit with these people, man.
Yeah.
We gotta sit with certain individuals, man.
And that's what I talk about when I'm talking about navigating the system. It's understanding the system that we're in and finding ways of how do we infiltrate it, how do we kind of get in a position where we can actually make change. Because
They support. Yes, they do. They always support over here, across here. So, if y'all like this interview, always support some kind of way. Maybe you can give me some coffee. You follow me?
And political power, and we have none. There's none of us at the table. Not one. We don't have a political
It's
party.
feeling, I'm feeling something when
You're going to have people that's negative because they're not expanding their minds. People don't expand their minds. That's why they're negative. Somebody said about being negative. I said people don't expand their minds. Because that's why people are going to be a negative, and that's why he always saying different people say, "Why are you so patient with people?" Because I understand the ignorance of our people. Our people, rather they want to admit it or not, they are very ignorant to certain things, and ignorance only means that you don't know. So when someone brings you this stuff, they like, oh, I've been taught this for so long, I don't want to let it go until something happens to them. You see what I'm saying? And they want to blame somebody else or blame the white man or blame. It's like Adam blaming Eve. Well, she made me eat it. No, she didn't. Eve didn't make you eat it. Everybody got choices in life. You chose to be that way. And this is what Kanye West said this, yo. Even though Kanye West is in left field, he's a Gemini too. But listen, what he said is slavery is a choice. I said he's right in some way, because today it is a choice to be a slave, and it is a choice to be ignorant. Yeah, Bob Marley said that. KRS-One has a song called Slavery. He said slavery's coming back, and we're going to go right along with it. Because when it's right in front of your face, you reject it. We rejecting what it is. Instead of saying, yo, you know, I'm a chill. Somebody asked me a question, Sabir, you think you know everything? No, I just know what I study.
That's it.
That's what it is. You know what you study in your research, right? It ain't about knowing. It's about what I research, and I'm not afraid to say I don't know something. I'm on my journey. I'm not afraid to say I don't know anything. I'm be like, yeah, you're right, bro. Let me get back with you though.
Well, I think that for the people who are actually sending the message out, knowing who your target group, you have to actually appeal to them or know how to actually speak directly to them.
Yes.
So in a sense, like if you bring in a message, you bring it to in a way that they can understand it.
Yes.
So then they can accept it, you can penetrate.
Exactly. You got to know how to talk to the people. Most, like you said, I think it was you or some. They said it's not for everybody. Everybody's not meant to be on radio. Everybody's not meant to be doing certain things. It's not in your nature. If it's in your nature, you're going to flow with it. So we try to get on. It's like going to college. College ain't for everybody. Law school, you ever notice? I would sit back and say, I could take the LSAT test and fly and kill it, right? It's not for everybody, but it's in my nature. So this is why they asked me to come to London to sit with some barristers. I said, well, I don't have a problem with that. I can sit with some barristers. Let's talk about it for a minute. But it has to be in your nature. If it's not in your nature, it's going to be hard for you to get it. So it's a thing called stay in your lane. So stay in your lane and figure that out. Because everybody has a purpose in life. You just don't know what your purpose is.
Some people might be here just for traumatic experience.
Yes.
Some people are here to just chill, and I think that you always have to understand who you're talking to. Are you talking to someone who's going to come and change the world? Are you talking to someone who just wants to just have an experience of the world?
Exactly.
Like, who you talk, so then I don't waste my time with some people because I know that they're just here to just be.
Is it hate?
Law school.
Huh?
Law school.
What about?
Went to law school.
He went to law school?
So that's the
Where?
bigger connection.
Barrister?
Yeah.
He was a barrister. I was supposed to be in London with some barristers, talking to the barrister.
I didn't do the bar exam, so I'm not a barrister just yet.
Yeah, see?
I decided not to do the bar exam.
She did too. She said the same thing.
Like you were saying, traveling instead of studying. I was telling them before my second year of law school, I went to Brazil. Instead of coming for the exams, I stayed for a month and a half. It was important to travel instead of being studying. But I brought law back to you because of what? The first thing that you learn in law school, in the first year of law school, you learn about law history. Yeah. And the first two laws that you learn before you learn about Anglo-Saxonic or European law, it's Arab law.
Who?
Roman law, Arab law.
Arab law.
Because the Arab law is the law. So this governor that you show me here, that it's in Sicily, black man, he was definitely the guy that was teaching them there, man. 100%.
But Ibn Khaldun is one of them.
Yeah.
He's very big. Ibn Khaldun is very big. But
the law
people...
was always the Arab law. First law, that then comes the Roman law. There's some glimpse of Scandinavian law, but it all comes from the Arab law, then goes to Roman law, and then comes to the general law of all of these. And then there's a specific one for the Anglo-Saxonic system that goes from England and travels to America. Like on my first year of law school, I got invited there. I ended up in Harvard. So I go to Harvard because I was considering studying in Harvard.
Yeah, most people come from the outer states, go to Harvard. Dude, I can show you. I have a Harvard card, like a card when I went into Harvard. When I walked in there, right, it was so funny because every time I go to a law library, this is what happens. The lady said, she looked at me like I was crazy because I had sweatpants on, coming in my pants with a t-shirt with locks in my hair. She's looking at me. I said, excuse me, miss, could you tell me where Corpus Juris Secundum at? Could you tell me where American jurisprudence at? Like I'm running things down. She looked at me like I was, what the hell you in here for? You know what I mean? So I'm sitting at the desk with a bunch of books in Harvard, right? Huh? Dude, it was so funny, dude. This is when you know the history, and even in Tunisia, when you graduate from school, they ask the mortar board that you put on your head, which is the fez that we wear, the cap and gown. They put the Quran on top of your head in Tunis. That's the highest knowledge. So when he's saying about Arabic law, you see what I'm saying? So that was the highest law. So as Moors, we wear the fez on our head, which is the 360 degrees, which is the fez, which is the mortar board that you call a cap and gown that you graduate. All of this stuff come from us. The number system in the States is Arabic. Arabic, 0 to 9 is a number system. So if we so much Greeks and Romans and all, why they not using the Greek letters and the Greek numbers? Think about the craziness. Why? So think about the craziness, how they make it seem like Islam is this. No, dude. They understand what's going on. We don't understand it because they are. When I was in Granada, they said the Europeans, it was a University of Granada. I walked in there. The original ground is like beneath. You can see it through a glass, right? And they said the Europeans would come sit at the feet of the Moors. They would send their children to sit at the feet of the Moors to study this. And we are running from being a Moor and while the Europeans try to be you. In this book,
All the way through.
All the time.
dude, listen, in this book, look at this. Read that right there, the highlighted part in his book where he said,
White people blacken their faces. Wow. Not only for the Moors,
Moorish,
the Moors, but because of attraction for the dark skin.
Of course.
the attraction of the dark skin. Now read what it says about queens, the Queen Isabella, no.
Queen Anne of England.
Yeah, he spotted it real quick.
His eyes are younger.
Maybe you should get my man.
Now let's get him to read it. Let's get him to read it. Let him read it.
Queen Anne of England and her ladies blackened their faces and arms to the elbow.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
To imitate you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, even the
Now with the buns again, you know, with all that, getting the hips, getting the big ass, the hips, they're all doing
The tanning booths.
Yeah, you know this, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Well, even from Victorian ages,
Yeah.
the gowns
corsets.
and corsets was really, in and then it brought in the bone, so it was African kind of,
Because they recognise that our shape and our being in our homeland was worshipped. It was, this whole being tiny and straight up and down. That's not who we are as black women in particular. But we've got caught up in so much westernized imagery that's who we're now trying to imitate, when they already knew right from the beginning what was beautiful. And that's why when you look at the Victorian era and they was wearing the corsets, having the tiny waist and what mimicked the big booty, that was from what they knew what was beautiful, the closest thing to God, which was the black woman. But only we can't see that. But it's hiding in, what is it, plain sight? It's actually there in plain sight. They say it in the books, they say it in Do you think we can't see it because it's in our nature to just be and to just kind of just like, it's just in our nature. We're not a group of people that kind of say, this is mine and I'm having this and I'm ostracizing you and making that division. We're accepting and we're, and loving people. So it's not a thing of like, I don't know if I agree with that. I think the damage is just the conditioning that has happened, especially to us here. The damage is severe from the interruption of slavery all the way through to even now to the society where the media, society is always pushing this agenda that white is pure, white is good, white is this. You have to have straight weave in order to get on. You've got to have more European features. Was it us trying to get into their land, or get into their system to be a part of? I don't know, because when you look at, when I was in Africa and stuff, and I'm looking at my African sisters, like they don't want to look like white women. They don't want to. They embrace their natural hair.
That's
they
right.
Embrace their black features. So I don't know if that is the case with. And even just their mannerisms, they don't try to tone themselves down. Especially Nigerian women, it's like, I'm like, listen, this is me. You see them on the bus and they speak their language unapologetically. They don't try and change their accent and change their mannerisms. They just, I don't want to insult anyone, but they're just, they're Nigerian, so it's kind of,
I don't know if it
And apologetically black.
Is it the descendants of slaves that?
I think so. I think it's the Atlantic slave trade in particular. I think what happened, that interruption to us in particular. Now, I can only really speak about our story, the stories that my parents, their parents talked about, and what's. It's all our history is relevant to all of this. But,
Yes, it is.
You know, it really is, and it's important that we understand that. But coming from a place of, I understand that even more because you see it in the Caribbean, you see it here, the segregation, you see the problems, you see the lack of unity. Whereas when I look at the African community that didn't necessarily have that interruption, it's slightly different. That's just from my own observation. They tend to support each other a lot better.
A lot of them. You see that in the States. You have Nigerians don't sit with black people in the States. Sudanese don't sit with them. Ethiopians don't sit with us. They all sit with themselves. When I was in Detroit, there is a community center that has all the African tribes, like different people that come to Detroit. They don't sit with black people, G.
Yeah.
They don't sit with us. I say this all the time. How many people from Africa, you know, literally be in a march with our people when we get killed in the States? None of them. Because they say they ain't gonna do with us. They'll say that. They ain't gonna do with us. You follow me? They'll say that. But what happens, we have to understand that. But this is why I do what I do. I'm sitting with everybody. I am Nigerian, G.
You know why, don't you, brother? Of course you do. You know why, right? Because when you come to the land where massa is something and you want to make a better world, there's always that trauma. You want to make a better world for yourself, and the first thing that you think is, these guys are the oppressed ones. I need to distinct myself from that, because I felt that in my culture in Portugal. Knowing like other people's from the same tone of scheme, coming from the same journeys that I do, that reject the culture because they want to be embedded in the European culture, you know. So that happens a lot as well, and that's trauma, man. That's trauma. That's what it is.
Wow.
Man. It's trauma, serious trauma.
We got some issues, man. We got to be fixing, book. This is
and
why.
That's why I asked the question earlier about, do we see us really progressing in our lifetime where there's more of that unity? Because the longer it takes us to kind of wake up and realise we're one people, regardless of our experiences, regardless of, you know, the demographics and the geography of how we got interrupted, we're now one people and we have to kind of unite. But like you said, it's, you know.
Listen, this is what I'm saying. Even on here, idiot or fool is on Facebook saying, you talk about your religion is fraud. This is the problem with people that don't understand religion. This is the ignorance of people who don't understand the difference between religion and dogma.
Yes.
Religion and dogma is two different things. Religion means to realign yourself back. It could be the spiritual, it could be Buddhism, it could be whatever. That's religion. Islam means peace. If I talk to an Ethiopian and I say salam, they're going to say salam, whether they're Christian or Muslim. If I talk to a Muslim, they're going to say salam alaikum. If I talk to you in English, you're going to say peace, which is Islam. So what was first? Was it Arabic or English? What was first? Arabic or English?
Let's have a think.
Think about that for a minute. Was it Arabic or English? So if I could say salam to you, I'm saying peace to you in English. I could say hotep. I'm saying peace to you, which I'm saying salam. So the problem is with people, they don't even care to know this information, especially in the States, because they're watching too many different fake people videos, because they don't understand what Islam truly is. If we sitting up here talking about the number system, and if you in the States, why are you using the Arabic number system? 0 to 9.
And then when they want to find another, sorry, Mrs., but when they want to find another enemy, they call it Isis. Isis is our goddess. You know? Isis is the goddess of all gods, and we're jumping into something else, but it's always this. It's always what's happening. It's kind of like almost like a schism. And if you want to go a little bit more metaphysical in terms of the understanding of the human experience and this journey of spirit and the karmatic wheel and the lessons that we are here to learn, it's always the schisms are almost like it's mirrors of ourselves. So this healing becomes most and foremost to punchline it really. How do you go about healing? It's self-healing, one at a time, and it's individual, and it's up to us to take the responsibility of creating that healing. And once you are healed from the inside, you are love. You will only mirror love. And all these schisms that we see happening right now, independently of a racial, economical, geographical context,
those are all schisms of our own consciousness trying to heal itself. So we need to know that, because, man, this is almost like, if you want to call it the conscience of Christ, or call it what you want, because we don't, I don't fuck with religion, man, for the same reasons that we've been talking about. That was never the goal. All these lessons and all this knowledge was given as a simple thing, a thing of love, of understanding, of a school of spirit. That is what this planet was supposed to be.
This is my sister Jasmine. She said they work 24/7 on the plot the plot on us, and they don't even understand that what I just said about. This is why I said most black people in America is so ignorant, because they don't get it. They don't understand what religion is, and I just explained what a religion was and just went over their heads. This is why you have to teach a grown person like they a child what religion is, because they don't pick up books, they don't read, they watch too many people videos. If I just told you that religion, which means to align yourself with allegiance to something in which is your spiritual realm. Islam means peace. That's why I explained Tawahido and Tawheed. It means the oneness. Oneness.
Maybe this is my definite ignorance, so just please inform me. Explain Nation of Islam, because
that's something totally different. we can get into that too if you want to talk.
Because I'll be honest, it kind of, I don't know if it's the UK or what, but when you think of nation, I see it as like a black kind of branch of Islam. Is it more of a culture? Is it more of a way, even though they practice and kind of...
Well, I'm going to tell you from my perspective, because I was in the nation when I was younger, because we used to stand up and make salat before we started prostrating. But Elijah took us away from talking about following a pale-faced Arab. That's what Elijah did. We were not those Arabs. We are the true Muslims, or Muslims, whichever way you want to look at it. So he had to, because where we were at, we were never going to prostrate to someone else. And that's prostrating towards the east. So because of the changing of how things are, we was like, no, dude, we're not dumb people. It took me a long time to understand why he didn't do that.
Yeah.
But now I understand, because we are them.
Yes.
We are the original Muslims. So Elijah was teaching us something different, because what we were going through in the States, we were suffering in the States. So we said, no, dude, we're not, that ain't us, G. That's why I let Muslims know that, dude, I'm your father. I let them know in a heartbeat, no matter where you go, I'm your father, G. But all of us was not Muslims either. But Islam came into Africa, and it's called. I was in Kewan. Kewan is it's in Tunis, like in Tunisia, and I went there to see about the history of Islam. But before that, we was the Amazigh Berbers. We were in the desert. We were fighting. We were literally fighting. Berber means somebody that was rebelling. We was rebelling. So when Islam came in, we were fighting not to be that. You see what I'm saying? We had our own form of spirituality. You see what I'm saying? So, the word we say Islam itself, it's not that it's bad. It's just that it's been bastardized, and people in the state don't understand real Islam. It means peace.
A lot of people don't read and don't read. The
They don't want to
Bible,
read.
and then hear from hearsay and story, then make up their own kind of.
But I think where we need to be a bit further as well is the truth of the matter is certain books are difficult. I know the Bible is you have to have a level of comprehension. You have to have academic level. Some people learn better through conversating. The problem is with that is that you need to be able to gather your facts, and your facts don't come from just one person.
Thank you. Not from one person.
Not from one person, because it's still manipulated from that person's perspective, and that's psychology. That's human nature. We internalize, we perceive our information based on our own genetics and DNA and all the rest of it. So they say even within the academic world, when you're researching or analysing or doing anything critical thinking or anything like that, you have to make sure your sources and you've got multiple sources.
Yes.
So
say that one more time, sister.
Yeah, multiple sources, and you're taking information from all these different sources, but what you're also doing is looking for the common denominator. So if all of your scholars are saying X, Y, Z, and you've then backed that up by reading what they've recommended to read, and you've gone out there and done your own research, then more than likely you can confidently say that I believe this to be true.
But I think that's how the system has actually got us, in the sense they send us to academic university to be able to learn like that.
Send us to the
bring
universe.
to bring
Oh, he said instead of taking us to the universe.
And you're right, but when I took, maybe I've used the wrong word, sorry, maybe it's not scholars as such. I don't believe that an educated person or a person that knows knowledge has to come from university.
Thank you.
Not at all, that does not make an educated person. In fact, sometimes it's the complete opposite. All they've done is show that they can commit and dedicate to this length of time of
Yes.
of studying, and they have conformed to what the regulations are to pass the qualification. A lot of it's based on memory, it's not actually knowledge. Most graduates do not know the information when they've left because they're not putting it into practice. So the best people that actually become educators are those that are seeking on a different level, those that are reading multiple books, reading, watching, doing their history. So it's not necessarily I'm saying that, you know, you've got to be a professor to educate people. Your educator could be your next door neighbour, it could be just someone who has a vast understanding or knowledge on a particular area in an area. So it's
That's basically a jurist. And he's in law, right? There's a word called jurist. The word jurist means somebody that's versed and skilled in law or known by their writing or laws of nations. That's a jurist. Jurist.
Jurista in Portuguese.
Say it again.
Jurista in Portuguese.
See, in Portuguese, right? So when you have, like, I probably got 7 books with me now. I used to carry like 20 books with me when I travel. Everywhere I go, I have books with me, and I go to the places where the books are at. I was told to research the researchers. So when, you see what I'm saying? Research the researchers. So I want to research those people that did these things. These cats on YouTube and Facebook are not researching it. They're letting people just tell them anything. Yeah, brother, well, Islam is this, well, Islam is that, and Islam is this. But what did you research?
Generation. Sorry.
It's crazy.
and then people have become really lazy, so they rely on what someone says on face value and like, right, so this person says that this must be it, and they're not going out there and seeking it. But going back to the point about people not reading, some people just don't learn in that way, and it's a you know, this is also another way of kind of demonising and having stigmas to people that don't always learn that way. And it's important that we acknowledge, or for me anyway, and especially from having children, that there's many different ways of learning, and it's important that we kind of venture out. And you know, when we look at, you know, we used to tell stories through paintings and drawings and carvings in stone, and this told a story, this told a lesson. You think about Braille, how do blind people communicate? It's through touch, it's through the bumps. There's a system there that isn't just relying on reading. Reading is massively important in this day and age, and there's no excuse. However, that sometimes can be an obstacle for people until people have built up their confidence, and a lot of this is taught behaviour. Some people don't grow up in environments where parents are reading to them, where there's actually books in the house. And I've seen it within my own community. I go into many of homes, and that's usually one of the things that I don't see. I see a big 50-inch TV and a big sound system, but the library is very small.
Yeah, sit there again. You get. Yeah, the library is very. They need to come in a coffee shop like this and get all books.
Yeah. You know, so unfortunately, the environment that some people are in, when they're not that blessed to be articulate enough, be eloquent enough, and to have the confidence and the ability to read. So as a people, we need to kind of support in other ways and say, actually, you can still find other ways to seek information and go back to the basics and kind of help yourself to read. But ultimately, I'm just not on always demonizing people or kind of putting people down because that's not their way of schooling or learning. It's a shame because it should be, but there are many different ways of, and a lot of it is conversating as well.
This is the funny thing. So I'm talking to people. This is the silly thing, and I hope y'all, they just need to support what I'm doing. They always try to ask me a multiple thousand questions because I charge for this kind of stuff, right? The ignorant of our people. They said to ask Sabira, does Jesus exist? Watch this. There you go, right there.
That's Jesus right there for you, brother.
Did that you see? Watch. I'm gonna give them an answer, right? And watch. They have an argument about there's not Jesus. There's Jesus right there.
Right there, brother.
There you go. Argue with that one right there. There you go. Brother, there's no J. I guarantee there was a J in there. It was a J. If you study, if you study Amharic, if you go back to Giz, if you really go back to history and study language, if you go back to the beginning of language, the first language was called Suba. Suba is the first language. It's letters, it's numbers. Like in Gaga, Google, ooh. It's language. That's baby talk. That's the first language. You got Giz, you got Amharic, you got. We keep talking about Hebrew. You follow me? It's insane what we talk about. It's stupid, man. Christ means light. That's why I said diggle Jesus right there. He is the light. There it is right there. There it is. The light. We looking for someone, a physical being walking around here. No, you are. When you walk into a room, I literally can walk in the room with a hood on my head with sunglasses on. If your light shining bright enough, they're going to notice you. That's what it is. So that's the Christ-like. That's the light right there. So I am Christ-like. You are the Christ-like. And this, I don't get it.
What's beautiful, I read in this book that within this time of Aquarius, this is a time where the story of Christ or the message of Christ will be truly comprehended within this time. So everyone's seeking, everyone's learning. And Christ came with a message for me. Christ says, what I've did and what I've done, you can do and you can do more. So then I'm thinking, imagine who you are then, or who I am. If you know what I mean, if Christ says, what I've come and done, you can do more.
You could do more than me.
More than me.
We sit up and get hung. Listen, cats are getting so hung up on this King James version of a Bible.
Yes.
It is a King James version of a book. The original Bible was written in Giz. Go ask these Pan-Africans, do they read Giz? You think they ask Junior, he'll tell you. He knows about Giz. We in it. Come on, we in the coffee shop. Giz, right? Listen, I go to an Ethiopian church. I sat with Ethiopian priests. Where was we at? Oh, we was in here, right? And the two brothers were saying, they said, man, we from Ethiopia. We don't even speak Giz. You got it. That's a hell of a language, bro. You got to study Giz, man. If you don't know Giz, you can forget it. All this stuff that we talking, we ain't talking about King James Version. That's a version. And that book is copywritten. You can't copyright the word of God, or can you? Can you copyright the word of God? I don't think you can, right? All right, I'm just trying to figure that one out. I'm trying to figure that one out. Huh? God don't write, right? He don't write, right? God don't even write. Why would he write?
On my journey of self-discovery, I went into the Bible, and there's a part within the Bible where it talks about, Israel going around and, the land and fighting and and judges and, and I thought, whoa, when you hear it or read it in its entirety, for me, that was a blueprint of being able to colonize, take over. You know what I mean? I feel like the UK, with their expedition of colonization, they actually just took that part and just did it. Because it went over to wherever, even to Jamaica,
they sliced up everything, diced up everything, and this.
Even it's said in the Bible at one point, it's saying, no cattle's not going to be there, no women, no children, rid all of the land. And I'm thinking, for me, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? Let's hope that's a version of, because I know that my God, or the creator, or the source of all things, don't work like that from my perspective. You know what I mean? So hopefully it's a version of. But for me, there's a blueprint, and I keep saying about this storyline. From reading the Bible, there's a beginning, middle, and end. And we're living in it. That's why people say 400 years of slavery, and then we're going to come.
Yeah, certain stuff is in there.
But it's being played out.
But see, we're not in tune with it anymore. That's what it's being played out. We don't understand that. Everything is a play.
Yeah.
It's being played out. If you read the book of Ezekiel, it talks about the book of Ezekiel, right? It talks about them walking around. It talks about Ezekiel will.
Oh, wow.
It talks about they walk around 7 times with wearing 2 pieces of amber. Let's go to Mecca for a minute.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah.
Let's go to Mecca. Think about it. Go to Mecca. Go to Mecca.
Yeah.
What are they talking about? You think they arguing religions? Think about the craziness.
That's been written 2,000 years.
Exactly.
So then that comes back to my storyline thing.
No, that was appropriated 2,000 years ago. It has been written eons ago.
Eons ago.
So then, did someone write this before when the humanity is just acting it out, and playing it out?
Was hijacked. Imagine like a film that was written by you, and now I'm a big production studio that wants to sell the film in the rest of the world. I'm gonna tell that you didn't wrote that history. I'm gonna get some producers on it to change a few lines on it. I'm gonna change the cover. I'm gonna package it and marketing it, and I'm gonna send my people with swords all over the world, spreading the word to you. And telling you
And that's what they did in The Matrix. The mother of The Matrix, Sophia Stewart. They stuck it and they This is why I tell people, Dr. Phil Valentine said this to me. He said, you have innovators and imitators. Innovators are people who create things. Imitators is what you got out here on YouTube and Facebook. These are imitators. They're not, and even amongst our own people, these people are imitators of this. They're not innovators or they're not creators of it. And this is why it's hard for some people to digest this information. This is simple. A child can understand this. But we make things complicated because what happens is like using a muscle in your brain. Like I did yoga one day, right? And I couldn't bend backwards. But when I started doing it, I started bending all the way backwards. I said, yo, this is kind of cool because now I'm using muscles that I never used before. It's the same thing with your brain. You follow me? It's the same thing. We're not using certain muscles anymore. You got to exercise those muscles.
People are not getting. I'm still trying to say about this storyline. This story. No, honest, because I feel like okay, it's been set, and it says 400 years, even about the black man, or you know what I mean, and then they're gonna come out of slavery, out of Egypt, and then they're gonna be the awakening's happening. So the storyline's being played out.
Yes.
What is the storyline? Who's giving that storyline, and it's for it to be played out? Because I feel like society now, or I feel like my understanding, there's many storylines being played out. As you said, the storyline about the black woman not valuing herself, or there's many different storylines, and it's wherever you want to hang your hat, to have that experience, and and that experience, I feel, with spiritual beings having a human experience. So within this world, this experience, there's many different experiences where you can hang your hat and live your destiny and get the information you need to build your spiritual character. I feel like we're here with spiritual beings having a human experience, and within it, all we leave and take from this place is the experience that builds us. So regardless of our connections, our attachments, we don't have any of them, but we have a sense of self. So we know when we leave, I feel, of my experience, we have a sense of self. So it's only the experiences that have made up my spirit, that has contributed to my spiritual experience, my spiritual character. So then I just personally, I feel that everything is different storylines happening, being played out, and then in a sense, some have been dictated, some have been orchestrated, some have been pre-planned. So then that's why you got Hollywood and you got, because telling the story is a massive thing.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
it is.
That's how you shape society. That's how you shape history.
But that's what they do with movies and TVs and YouTubes and Instagrams, because what you see, these visions, it's like I use the scenario of they have this thing in a state, right? At night, they have this Viagra commercial used to be on, right? I'm like, why the heck they got a Viagra commercial on? They got the dude with the hose, the woman dude with the hose, the woman in the window, on in America, right? But I'm just saying, listen to it's the story, right? But what I'm saying to you, what the stories, like, they have to put in your subconscious mind. So now,
then it becomes, because then it's
then you become, exactly.
Then you put it in as a concept, and it becomes a part of you. African women do not have menopause. Every other woman within this culture, within this society, has menopause. You know what I mean? Menopause. You know, there's many different things that we've actually taken on as a part of our, existence that we don't have to.
We don't have to take, and this is why I don't hold on to nothing. People say, Sabir, how old is, nigga? I don't know what that is, dude. The age is 2000 something. I mean, last time I checked, the highest number is number 9. I don't get caught up in the madness. I don't look at time, because time is an illusion. It doesn't exist in my vocabulary. Listen, none of these things exist to me. I don't know why. It's just something in me that I don't acknowledge it. It's like, dude, let it go.
Then you could be truly living your experience where other people get trapped in the matrix. of time.
Exactly.
The matrix of concepts.
How do you measure time? It's like, dude, how do you measure time?
And even it's beautiful as well that in Jamaica, my dad don't know what day he was born on. You know what I mean?
See what I'm
People
saying?
in Africa don't even know when they were born.
When they were born, they don't know.
Therefore, you know what I mean? How you don't say that they don't live for 300 and odd years like Noah in the Bible? Because he does.
Don't nobody know when they were born. That's a USA thing. It's like, it's insane. Like, I don't know how. This is the funniest thing. No lie. This is the funniest thing. I'm gonna help y'all out. How is it that the next you were born on this day, the next year you're 1? I'm trying to figure out. But wait a minute. You were 9 months already in the mom's womb.
-1.
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure out how are you 1, but you were already here, but you wasn't physically outside the womb of. That shit don't make sense to me, boy.
Yeah, it's something to do with like when you last day.
Like, what the heck is? Why is it called a birthday instead of an anniversary? Listen to the university. You don't say my wedding day next year. You say my anniversary. This is yo.
Yeah, and even about New Year. Why is your New Year not on your birth of the year?
Yeah.
That's your New Year.
Your New Year,
That's
yeah.
you know what I mean? You're gonna have a. That's so there's a new. You know, that's my New Year. It's my birthday.
But I think it's all on the gender and it's all political. This is what we talk about, the systems that have been designed for centuries. And when we left our original spiritual way of living as a people, we've entered or we've been taken from there and we're here in this system where from the minute you're born you're given a number. Throughout your whole existence you've got to keep that number. In order to work you've got to have that number, you're tracked. You are a part of a system. Your identity actually isn't you, it's your number. And then when you die, you're given a number to die. And if people live for probably how long your body dictates, if you lived a healthy lifestyle and you really kind of were spiritually, connected to your spirit as well as your physical being, you'd live probably a hell of a lot longer.
You would.
But if that happened, it would have massive consequences on this system. On this system. So
You're not in a rush anymore.
You have to.
You have time to do your thing.
And this is
You're
what
not controlled.
And this is what I say to people all the time, especially because I see all the time in my work is that you have to die between this sort of age because there isn't enough space, especially in the UK, to keep people living for a lot longer. There's not enough resources because the gap between the haves and haves not is too big. So if people are living longer, then it means that there's less resources for those that want to keep the gap that big. And these are problems that why we need to get out of the system and why we need to get out of this place and go back to a way of living where we just live. We live as a people rather than people that function almost like robots. We're functioning as robots. There's no quality of life anymore. From the minute you're born, you're in a system which is school. You leave school at the age of 21. Then you're in a next system which is JOB, where you still can't provide a future for yourself. You can't really have any kind of quality of life. Then you're preparing for your body failing on you and to become a OAP.
That's what some of these dudes on YouTube and Facebook is doing right now. Like this person on here, they love to get on my feed. They love to get in their head because this is what they're doing. Their body is failing on them. They're eating wrong, and their mental is even messed up. And that's all you got to do is listen to some of these people. You can listen. I never tell a person what they don't know. I'm going to ask you what you do know. Because you're going to let me know that you don't know nothing. You follow me? You're going to let me know you don't know, and you're going to talk how ignorant you really truly are.
And a lot of people just frightened to say, I actually don't.
Yeah, they are frightened. Listen, they are afraid to say they don't know. I would tell you in a minute I don't know something.
Your spirit may be older than mine. I said, so who am I? And guess what? You as my child is my greatest teacher. So then you continue to learn.
That's right.
You guide me
Wow.
on how I can help you become your greatest hero on earth. Because I've not learned so much other than being a mother.
Yes.
That is next level. of my
Nobody taught you how to do that.
No.
That's in your nature.
And I think our parents didn't even
But I say to my children, I'm a vessel. You come through me, so you don't belong to me. You're here to do your work, to do your destiny, whatever it is. And whatever it is, it's okay. But I'm here to support that and enable that. So tell me what we're doing next Saturday. Tell me. I asked my son, where do you want to go to school? I don't know, Tasha, I don't know. He He said, I want to go homeschool. That's fine. Let's do it. Let's try it. Let's go. I don't know.
Well, son, you're not. You're not like. there is a true because.
Yo, so
You know, but yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying. It's a
yeah,
beautiful
man, this
thing.
is deep.
Storyline
Black
videos.
Hebrew Israelite play the same game.
Hang your hat.
Hey, Black Hebrew Israelite don't play the same game, G. Sorry. You talking about this how Black Hebrew Israelites. Listen, we are so twisted on a lot of these things, man. It's a darn shame, man.
And I think it's just that control. People just won't let people live. It's like there's this like you've got to be.
Hold on. Listen to this. Hey, yo, did you hear the show yesterday? Did y'all hear the show yesterday? Listen, this is the most ignorantest thing. I addressed this yesterday on the radio show, and I'm going to address it tomorrow. When it come up on the panel tomorrow about the Moors, which are Africans, help the Arabs. Hold up. Did I have that document? No, look at my tablet, man. This is the problem. The Arabs, the Moors help the Arabs. We are selling each other out today.
Yes.
So what Arabs are they talking about?
There's no Arabs.
There's no Arabs like that. Like, dude, do they pay attention? He need to go watch since he's been on here this long, he need to go watch that video I did last night. He should go watch all my videos last night. Cause these dudes be out to lunch, man. You boy, this European be laughing at our people.
I recently was in Dubai.
I've seen the one on Instagram.
Huh?
Instagram. You recorded the radio program yesterday on Instagram.
Yeah, I did an Instagram and I did a Facebook. Because these issues need to be brought up because everybody keep blaming people and not blaming what we just said about the Portuguese. Nobody's going to say the Portuguese was involved in slavery or Spain.
The war, you know that Portugal and Spain, they split the world in two. It's
Huh?
called the pink map. And they are actually responsible for a lot of the trauma that we are living right now, not as a culture, but that was a historical moment. So Spain and Portugal divided the world into, that was called the pink map. And that wasn't geographically done. So they sat down on a table, they looked at the world as a flat thing and said, this half is mine, this half is yours. And that's how they did it. So the Spanish got Mexico, they got all the South America, the Portuguese got Brazil, the Portuguese got India and Africa. And that's how it was done. They split the world in two at that time. And it's incredible then when you start talking about collective consciousness, this can go so far, bro, because you start connecting all the dots, man. And there's so many dots.
I'm gonna show you something.
It's crazy.
Look at this. I'm gonna show y'all something. Look at this. And I want him to see this. See this? That says the Moors, a dark race, Maori, dark race living in northern part of Africa. See African races. Africa. And this book is from 1920s, right? And it talks about in the 6th to the 5th to the 8th century, the Arabs who conquered Spain were Moors. Same people, right? This is an old book, right? In the 15th century, the transatlantic slave trade, Portuguese started exploring the west coast of Africa, which are Moors, right? That's that right there. So this is all that was going on. So if it wasn't for Spain and Portugal, and understand that even to this day, we're doing the same exact thing without fixing this problem. We're not fixing it because we're not telling the truth.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
So the link of Portuguese and Senegalese, is there any link there in terms of the sound of the name Portuguese?
But the Senegalese, the Senegal, the Wolof, those are Moors.
Yeah.
They still Moors.
Portugal,
Senegal, Portugal, Senegal.
It's all Northern African. It's all
So
there,
when you get this right in here, it speaks about the Wolof. It speaks about Senegal. It speaks about the Wolof inside. This is in Cambridge. Let me see if I can find the page. Right? If you talk to a Wolof person, they will tell you the history. When I was in Grenada and I was in Morocco and different places, they would say, yeah, we know this history. We know about this. Right? That's what they're talking about. Wolof. Talk to Senegalese and talk to a person from Cape Verde. Because you had to step off. There you go. You had to stop off in Cape Verde.
Yeah.
So when I was in France, the girl behind the counter said, she said, are you from Cape Verde? She thought I was from Cape Verde. And we just started talking. I said, I got a book I'm going to bring back to you, and I want you to see it. And when I brought the book back to her, she was like, oh, snap. In this book, it talks about the Moors of Guinea. Right? Watch this. This is what they teach in their schools. Right? Look in the back of here. In this book that the college in TSU didn't want the student to come out of this book, right? The Moors of Guinea, right? But on this book is it's called African Journal, right? In the Gulf of Guinea, the Negro slave replaced the Moor slaves.
The Negro slave replacement.
Because we were Negro. Negro was synonymous with Moor.
Yeah, yeah.
It was synonymous terms.
Yeah.
So what happens in history, like you were saying about the college, they're not going to tell you anything about this. So majority of these professors who go to college and these cats that talk about Pan-Africanism came from the same European college. They're regurgitating. Not one of these dudes jumped on any plane, anywhere, and actually sat with these people. None of them.
And that's what I say. The system is, that's what it keeps doing, is just getting people to go to college to regurgitate the information that's already there, that perpetuates this whole cycle of falsehoods that's not real. So get out there, have experiences, live, speak to people, go direct with your information. But that's why, I keep saying storyline. Because if you keep people trapped in a story or in a thing, they have to keep spinning. I mean, we have to get out of there, definitely. For sure.
Yeah, real men don't. She said, real men don't engage in ignorance because you know what? You say black ignorance is a $1 trillion industry. Black ignorance is a $1 trillion industry. $1 trillion industry.
Well, it's fading now.
It is fading. Oh, you can see it in this conscious community that's going on. All this fake stuff is falling to the wayside. All of this fakeness is falling to the wayside.
I know it, man.
And they trying to find more and more ways. Now, the topic is coming at the Moors because they're running out of content. We're going to come at the Moors now because we don't have no more content. We can't talk about the ancient black gods no more. They're running out of content. And they have no other choice but to try to talk about the Moors to get shining. About a year later, you won't hear them talking about the Moors like my man said. Now they're talking about the Moors, but everybody want to say something negative about the Moors. But if they got off their behinds and traveled, they will actually see the world for what it is.
And how beautiful it is and how much gifts were given to humanity. With the knowledge that was shared, and the knowledge that is still to be regained. Because
Yes.
there's more that has been lost on the way, but we can find our way back to find it,
Yep.
That's what we're doing.
And it's always coming. Oh, you best believe they're going to what you call them. It's always coming. Always coming.
Trust.
And this is why I do stuff like this. This is a calendar I put together, but I got to get some more. People can go to the website. It's like my trip, and I have like Doc Dick Gregory in here, Sabi's in here. My trip of all my photos. It is. It's the Alhambra.
Of course it is.
I did one. Yeah, it is. I did one before that. It was called the Alhambra. I did a calendar before that, and that's the 2020 calendar. But I have another one. I have 3 books coming out from Tunis, Morocco, and Spain. So I have 3 books coming out. So those are all trips. That's argan oil.
Argan oil is such an important thing. So
argan oil.
Morocco, yeah.
These are all products that are ours. Are coming.
You say you've been to where?
And we need to.
He been to Morocco. How many grown folks on here been to Morocco? Where's Morocco at? Is it where? It's in Africa. He said how many of these grown folks on here went to Morocco and knew that it was in Africa? How old are you, man?
10.
He's 10. How many people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s never been there? Man, you better out the mouths of babies. He said, I've been to Morocco, babe. And this girl from Tunis, she was 13 years old. She said she went to the States for 2 years. They didn't even know Tunis was in Africa.
Oh, wow.
She said they didn't understand. She said she didn't understand why they was calling people black and white when she went over there. She was 13. 13. It's crazy.
They're going to change the world.
They will change the world.
Yo.
That's so important. I mean, that's what I absolutely appreciate and love what you said about investing in these guys, the young generation.
You have to invest in them.
Travel. I try my hardest to make sure he travels all the time as much as we can financially afford it. And when we do travel, I try not to take him to the commercialised tourist parks. We're not going to know Magaluf. We're going to see our people, real places.
That's what I'm talking about. You heard what he said? She said taking them to see our people, not tourists.
No. We want to see the culture. We want to see the food. We want to try. We want to integrate ourselves with the people so we can reconnect, and it's from a young age. And as much as he wants to jump around in the pool, it's come on, we're going out, we're catching a taxi, and trying not to get caught up in this whole be safe, I'm safe. It's just
and that's how I felt when I was in Fez. The brothers that when I was in Morocco, they would say, boy, you was in Fez? Fez ain't a place you want to go by yourself. I was in Fez, Morocco, by myself in the Medina. So I don't... Huh?
You feel like
Yeah, my locks keep me safety because they didn't know what the hell I was. Yeah, man, I was at peace when they looked at me like they said one of my boys said I'm from Fez and I don't go to Fez. But what happens that nobody, like when you travel, I don't fear that. Like she said, you don't fear that. And I'm walking amongst the people. And this place in Morocco is a crazy, like Fez is really like hoodish. It is.
But when you know you're walking among your people, you know you're walking among your people. The love comes out. It's the resonance. It's the energy. And we've been all in such places that you think that no one man you go, and you get there and all you find is love because it's your people. It's your people. All you find is love.
So whatever you walk out with or whatever you give out comes back. So if you walk somewhere fearful, you're going to get the fear, you're going to get it come back. And you can smell it just like an animal.
Yes. Animal can smell fear.
Yeah, because then that's why it will attack you. Because when I walk past a dog, I said, dog after dog. Dog after bark after lion. I'm going back after a lion. And it has to whimper and ease up. No, even emotion is a massive thing. But even about the traveling, I traveled with my baby who was only 1 year old and the other one was 3 on my back, walking the steps of Lalabella, going into the church. Yeah, I have to throw one in through the window, grab the other one, and then go even higher to the other church that was it's built in 4th AD, and it's in the mountains. And we stayed there for 4 months. We said, you know what?
4 months.
4 months in Africa. 4 months.
Wow. I need to go there and live in 4 months.
4 months. I was so happy for a toilet when I got home.
You really do. It's those moments of pure nature. You appreciate everything that you have.
Yeah.
And the things that you don't have.
And then it stops when you complain.
Yeah.
Stop the complaining. All the
Yeah.
people that are complaining about information or someone sharing information, you got a flushing toilet, mate.
Yeah, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
You got a flushing toilet.
Yeah.
You didn't have to walk 2 miles to pour that water, you know?
Yeah.
2 miles.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
So then now it's like you got so much privilege that you can just, and then you complain. That's an insult to all those who don't have. Insult. So
even just the access to information. The access, people live in remote villages and to have access to knowledge across the world is quite limited for some people. Their knowledge it stops within their borders. It stops. They know everything about their agriculture and how their community functions, how the community runs. But what happens overseas is not necessarily so. The fact that we have so much knowledge at our fingertips, but yet we'd rather scroll down on Instagram and see,
some random shizzle. What's
instead of
that?
actually using
I like that.
Instead of using that as a source to really find information that's going to equip us, that's going to give us our armor, that's going to help our spiritual cleansing, that's going to help us reconnect with and have better relationships with our families. These are all things. Taking time out to travel, it's almost like it is therapy, and it is like a form of meditation because when you're on the beach, no matter how much
Don't even talk about it.
you're hearing the water, and you've got no phone, and you've got no TV, and you're distracted. You really do get that sense of calm, and we really kind of take that for granted.
I think, as you said about information, even knowing that the sea is conscious. The sea is alive.
How many of our people are in that sea?
It's conscious because they even it's only 3% of the sea that's explored. So you can imagine what is down there.
We know more about the universe, they say, than we do know about the ocean, about the sea.
And even the emotion as well. Me personally, I love being a Rasta. I do because it makes me look at things in a different way. Where from when we were growing up, colours was a thing. You know what I mean? We've got 12 colours, and each colours have a vibration. Each vibration has a psyche on the, on the human. Wear a certain colour, you're admitting or permitting certain vibes, and then you could do certain things. Or I think someone was in a court case, and then the 12 tribes you know, Rasta said, everyone wear red and go there. The whole congregation in red.
Yeah.
Right? The judge could not concentrate and had to say, you know, let's go, leave it. But even knowing that the colour and knowing that when people are born, you know what I mean, in the month that you're born, you're governed by an organ. So within that organ, that's where this represent. You know what I mean? And that's where you're strongest. That's where your weakness
It's
is.
design. This is the thing. These are not things that are just coincidences. People actually study colour theory. They colour.
Yeah.
They study colours. They recognise. That's why marketing, branding. McDonald's is yellow and red. And if you look at most fast food establishments, you will see red and yellow because it triggers certain feelings of hunger. Kids become addicted to them colours, so they automatically will register them colours with food. No, McDonald's. Can't spell McDonald's. We get to know the colours of McDonald's.
How is that?
So there is a study of colours, and these are things that our people knew from day one. The problem is that we don't appreciate and acknowledge and we're not passing on this knowledge about what was created before us. Like you said, the 12 tribes. You know, I'm a scorpion, I'm a god, so it's red. And it's there's a fire, it represents love, power, there's all these sort of things that it represents.
Yeah.
And we just think it's just a colour. You know, like I said, even just the way we present ourselves to the world, how we step out,
Right.
you're making a statement by choosing to wear whatever you're wearing, choosing the colours, subconsciously on a deeper level. Something in here or in here has told you to come out in your mustard yellow jumper, whether it's because you want more warmth, because it represents the sun, possibly, or whatever it is.
Or it saves your life because someone could see you walking.
I'm here. Yeah. Or bring some sunshine into someone's life.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
So these things have greater meaning and significance.
Yeah.
We look at it quite on a simplistic surface.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff.
And it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Each day represents a particular colour, and that colour has a particular vibration. So Monday would be blue, Tuesday would be
All right, we're gonna go get some food.
Wednesday's yellow,
Whenever you're ready.
Thursday's purple,
Yeah.
Friday you're wearing, which is green.
Okay. I'm digging the green and the khaki at the moment. That is my whole entire wardrobe is
Green is also the
it's very
large
militant.
chakra. It's large chakra green.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the color of the heart.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And I've got a few issues with that at the moment, so that might be
Yeah.
deeper level.
Of course.
You see what I'm saying? Nothing
Tomorrow.
is a coincidence.
You really